Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MLG Forza Motorsport 6 Finals. I am Benson, joined by the wonderful Golden Boy, the duo, back in action once again. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch these games. Whenever you and I do racing games together,
it's pretty hype.
It tends to become all-out carnage, so I'm really pumped.
Sometimes it does, but it's going to be an exciting day.
Insane. There will be bodies flying everywhere, car parts all over the place.
Okay, hopefully we don't see that. Hopefully we see some good old-fashioned hardcore racing.
Yeah.
For those of you that may be unfamiliar with today's show, let's take a look at the rules and kind of fill you guys in with exactly what to expect to see. Of course, this is the rules and qualification. Gameplay rules. It's a double elimination bracket today, Golden Boy. All races are going to be best of 3. Now, we picked the specific S-Class vehicles only for today. There are some kind of restrictions to some of the vehicles we can use. We'll get onto that a little bit later on, and we'll see the same tracks for each round. Now, we're going to see 2 different tournaments going on today. We've got the 3v3, the team-based game, and we also have singles, some 1v1. The team is going to be first place team from 4 separate online qualifiers. They have all qualified for today, and in terms of the singles 1v1, we have the top 16 players in the Pro Point leaderboard after 7 online qualifiers.
A lot of matches that these guys have played to get to this point here. Of course, excited to see who comes out on top. Speaking of who comes out on top, what they'll be taking home is very important, because in the 3v3 competition, you're going to have $3,300, $1,100 basically for each player. They're going to take home $550. You guys can pretty much see it from there.
Yep.
It's a lot of nuts. That's a lot of cash.
You're definitely going to want to win the singles event.
The singles
you take home a little bit more cheddar.
That's where it gets heated. It's going to be $3,300 for one person.
Whoever comes first.
Whoever comes first. So that is a lot of money on the line. Of course, these players eager for this one, as we're going to get started in just a little bit. So very exciting stuff overall. But Ben, got to talk about the schedule, what we're going to be seeing here today. We're going to kick things off with Toasters versus the incredibly named Kitty Crew.
I never thought in my years in esports I'd be saying a team name called Kitty Crew.
I mean,
but by God, I love it already.
I remember Puckett commentating the Slippery Slipsicles. You know, we all have just. I commentated a team called the Rainbow Unicorns one time.
That's a fantastic name. Someone should steal that.
It honestly is. Lightning Pandas.
I am a fan of that. Not gonna lie. As you can see, that we are going to start off with the 3v3s and then go into a NASCAR exhibition, and then to close out the evening, the 1 versus 1's. The schedule, of course, to be decided as of right now. But one thing to note, a lot of the races we're going to see in the 3v3s, we will also see in the 1v1. So we're going to get a little bit of a taste as to maybe who may come out on top in our 1v1 tournament. Of course, here a quick look at the 3v3 bracket. There's our top 4 teams, ERS and Rever, and then we have Toasters and Kitty Crew at the top. Winners, of course, will go through to winners final, losers to losers semi, losers final, and of course our grand finals as well, Golden Boy. I am very, very excited to get today's action.
I'm pumped, man. What's really unique here is that the team portion of the competition, really, it's unique, right? Because I believe it's an aggregate of the total time finished, right?
Yeah, so that's something we should really kind of talk about in terms of 3v3. You may be thinking, how does a 3v3 Forza race work? Is it kind of average placing, or is it time? It is time. So what happens is you take the cumulative time, there we go, of every racer on each team, and of course, quickest racers win. Pretty simple. Now, you're terrible at maths.
I'm the worst.
So I'm just throwing that out there. He may miss the decimal place a couple of times, but hopefully not. Of course, this is going to be the first race of the day. Toasters versus Kitty Crew, and we are heading over to Brands Hatch Indy as our first track. And here is a beautiful little graphic. Shout out to all the wonderful guys in the back making this possible. Track length 1.21.
The lap record. Home land, Ben.
Oh, I'm going back to the motherland, baby.
Oh, boy.
As you can see, the lap record is 0.38.032. That's by Scott Mansell. That's the real life track record. So if we see someone beat that today, could be pretty awesome. And some important turns I want everyone to kind of look out for today is going to be turn number 2, Druids. This is where I expect to see maybe a little bit of catastrophe happen, especially in the 3v3s. I think you're going to have to see racers really take their time and make sure they nail this turn. If you go a little bit too wide, you leave it open for cars to cut on in the inside and get easy passing opportunities. Druids definitely going to be one to look out for. And as well as that, Surtees. That's going to be turn number 4, Golden Boy. as you can see, it's a pretty small track overall. There's only going to be 5 turns in it. So really, once you go through Druids, you've got one very, very small turn you're going to have to take that leads onto a big straight, and then Surtees, which is, again, a little bit of a hairpin, which you're going to have to make sure you don't drift too wide. If you do, again, another passing opportunity for many of our racers today.
Yeah, these turns are going to be killer for our players, and we'll see how they are going to be able to adapt to them. Of course, you know, you're looking at these clips, and they are of one individual on the track, but keep in mind that, you know, you have, what is it, 6 cars that are going to be pretty much jockeying for that same position. So there will be a lot of, expect honestly a lot of just constant collisions. Like, they're going to try and avoid each other as much as they possibly can here. But those turns are going to be the ones you want to look out for, particularly because of how narrow they are.
Yes, exactly. And as we mentioned, those important turns, that's where you kind of see the track get a little bit wider, and small mistakes, that's going to be the difference here.
Oh, you spin out in a heartbeat.
Oh, you'll be done. You'll be done for. But it is all about the crucial seconds when we talk about 3v3, because as you said, it's a cumulative time, which is going to be the key thing to keep your eyes out for. And I believe the guys are getting ready, getting their lobby set up, and they should be ready to go. But Alex, I'm so excited to be casting a racing game with you again.
Yeah, well,
it's been too long, dude. It's been so long.
We typically, racing games are, they bring a very different kind of style of like competitiveness, personally, because I don't know what it is. It's unique, right? It's unique in its approach. We're known to do shooting games, right? You know, FPS, third person shooters as well. And that comes with it a certain kind of, you know, style of casting. But for this one, what I enjoy most about it, it's a challenge. Not a lot of people do racing games, and not a lot of people really know. And you love this stuff. Like,
dude, I do.
I
just love
how much you enjoy just time trials. You enjoy like inches, like shaving seconds off of a time.
Absolutely.
It's really cool stuff.
I think with racing specifically, you can kind of see competition as many people are kind of used to. I mean, you know, you look at American sports, you have NASCAR. Speaking of NASCAR, we have that awesome NASCAR exhibition a little bit later on in the day. That is going to be barrels and barrels of fun. We may have special guest coming in for that, so you'll definitely want to check that out. But yeah, you know, racing is just such a form of competition. It really is. It's its truest form of competition, if you will. And, you know, seeing these guys come out here today, apparently there's some big names in the Forza community that are going to be playing today, and I'm really excited to see exactly what's going to happen. Of course, there was a Formula E event, which was going on just before this event started. So some of the guys definitely going to be warmed up already.
Yeah, I tend to like kind of dabble and watch a couple Forza streams.
You dabble.
I dabble. I'm a dabbler.
Dabbler. Okay.
Not to be confused with a dabber, but I am a dabbler. You know, I don't know. I think we ended up getting an invite, by the way. Just finish that thought real quick. I watch a lot of various streams, and I see like just the different. The way you have to really just appreciate each turn, the way you have to appreciate each play, it's really unique, and it's fun. It's really fun, and we are actually jumping into this one now. So we're gonna get this started here in just a second. The players are getting their lobbies together, all sorted up. I'm pumped. I can't wait.
You mentioned something really interesting as well, that you recognize a couple of these gamer tags that may have evolved from FPS days.
So I'm trying to figure it out, but like I could swear I've seen Spin Serve before.
You think you recognize that gamer tag?
I feel like I've seen Spin. Well, the name, just so you guys know, the name USA Toasters actually was a team that competed in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Yeah, so they competed way back when, and which is crazy considering that's like quote unquote way back when. But yeah,
you're old. It's okay. We all know that.
It's a sad life that I live. But I remember seeing that name there, so to see it kind of pop up again, and Spin Server, I could have sworn I've seen that name in the past.
Maybe you have.
So I don't know. Maybe someone can on Twitter can correct me and let me know. But overall, though, man, I'm pumped. I just can't wait to get into this one. In case you guys are not aware, we're playing for a lot of cash here. So these players have a lot on the line, and they're right there. I mean, this is it. Like I believe we have 4 teams in this competition. 1 will be out of the money. So this is the pressure's on. It's top 3 get paid.
Top 3 get paid.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
But
we have
the
4 teams.
loser of this, double limb. So
but that's what I'm saying. 1 team will be out of the money. Why you gotta do
I'm
this
just
to me,
making
man?
sure you're being clear to people.
Why I am being very clear.
Okay.
Very clear.
It's fine. Let's look at the prize.
See, look at that.
550.
You see number 4? Do you see a 4th? I don't see a 4th.
All right. The point has been made. The point has been made. Third place, though, $183 each is pretty tasty. I'd definitely be wanting to be competing on the winning team. Some people may recognize the Game Attack Raceboy77 out there. Someone that we've been told to really keep our eyes out for. I believe he is going to be racing under the Kitty Crew team today.
Kitty Crew.
Again, cannot believe I'm saying Kitty Crew with a straight face, but even so, I expect to see those come out pretty much out of the gate pretty hot.
Yeah.
As I said, there's already been a Formula E event earlier on today, so a lot of the guys are already warmed up, already acclimatized to Forza today. So hopefully we don't see any scrappiness. I want to see a clean race. Hopefully all goes well.
I want a clean race.
I want a clean race.
Let's get it on.
I want a clean race. That's definitely for sure. But as we kind of touched on, Brands Hatch Indy, it's going to be 4 laps. It's a very, very small circuit. You only have 5 turns. So really, it is going to come down to the break, I think. Whoever can get off with a clean start and try and put a little bit distance, because again, hate to reiterate, but it is time. It's a cumulative time, which is so crucial. Just a couple of seconds could be the difference.
And this is overall a very smooth track, right? I mean, you know, you have, like we mentioned before, turns 2 and 4 certainly would be the ones to look out for, partially because, you know, especially turn 2 is a very tight turn. But I think what's very compelling about this map are going to be those straightaways and seeing how, you know, how the players react on those straightaways, especially as they, you know, cross the lap. I believe we're doing first of 4 laps?
Yes.
4 laps. 4 laps. So we're doing a 4-lap race here. And honestly, those straightaways for me are going to be very telling, because now players need to think about how they're going to position themselves getting ready for turn 1, which is a fairly simple turn, but that's how you prepare yourself for turn 2.
Of course.
Ideally, I would imagine these players will want to think a couple steps ahead,
obviously,
instead of just, you know, going at it willy-nilly.
As you mentioned, though, Brands Hatch is a fantastic, fantastic race course. Gerard Berger, the Austrian F1 driver, once said Brands Hatch is the best circuit in the world. So it's a good racetrack for us to kick things off on for today's show, I think.
And what's actually really interesting about this, it was a former military training ground.
It was.
As well,
it was back in the motherland, the United Kingdom. So a former military training ground. You see how as Brits develop a former military training ground. We just turn it into racing. That's what we do.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right. Just turn it into racing. Top Gear, be darned. Even though
that's a great show.
It is a good show. It is a really good show.
All right. Well, the race is going to be loading up right now. And there, of course, a quick look at Brands Hatch in its fullest form, or today's circuit. Of course, there are different variations. Today we will be seeing, of course, the Indy circuit. But the race about to get underway. Golden Boy, who are you going to be on board with?
Well, you know what? I'm checking out our first place guy over here. It's going to be Harmonic. He's actually duking it out right away, and look at just the designs on the car too. They did make it a little easy for us to tell who was going to be on which team. So
absolutely,
that's nice.
Absolutely, I'm currently on board with Spinsurf, who was just in first place, but as you can see, that's going to be that turn 2. It's Druids. He just got done on the inside of that, and sadly now he's going to be falling over into second place. Golden Boy, you see anything going on a little bit further down the pack? Of course, it is important we remember this is a team game, of course. So it is going to be all about that cumulative score. I believe the players have been very generous enough to put team colors on. So we know, of course, red is going to be one team and blue should be the other.
Yeah, I do have, who is this going to be? Swerve, actually.
Oh, he's trailing
right now.
He's trailing. You said the old Call of Duty player, potentially. He's sitting in, what, 6th place?
Yeah, he's sitting in 6th right now. He's not
a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah, not doing too hot here. Let's actually turn on the telemetry to see what we have going on right now.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so of course, you know, he's just looking to catch up. And that's the thing, right? When you're in 6th place, you really are it's not good, right? I mean, of course, personally, you don't want to be in 6th place, but when you're thinking about the cumulative time and what you want to be able to have here, being in 6th place, especially as far back as he is too.
You can get a little bit lucky though, of course, if your teammates do make up a little bit of slack. If he has a teammate in 1st and 2nd, with very blistering quick times, he may be able to get a little bit lucky with it. For now though, it is going to be Harmonic in 1st place. He is cruising, and I believe he also has a teammate in 2nd place. Golden Boy, what is currently going on a little bit further down the pack, maybe towards the 3rd and 4th position? I think that's where we may see a little bit of scrap. I believe Race Boy is actually going to be in 4th place. Now, this is a player that we've been told to keep our eyes out for. I really want to see exactly what he's up to.
Shout out to actually, we can check out Race Boy here. Shout out to his livery, man. It's really cool. It's got the Canadian flag, got the Hello Kitty logo there, the MLG logo.
Are you saying you're a Hello Kitty fan? Is that what I'm hearing?
Man, Hello Kitty Island. Oh, a collision actually coming out here. That's not nice. I listen, okay. At the end of the day, we all enjoy Sanrio. So why you hating, Benson? Okay, I've gone to the Sanrio store in Times Square plenty of times.
Of course you have.
Okay, well, with my girlfriend at the time. you know?
Where is this story going, Alex?
I don't know, but why? You're the one who brought it up.
Don't even worry about it. I want to go on board with Wizard, LSR Wizard, who's actually directly behind Raceboy, and he may actually have an opportunity here to actually pass him on the inside if he's quick. As he goes around turn 1, he has the little bit of a straight to potentially fade through. Oh, he's not going to be able to get it though, going around Druids. That's a tricky turn, as we said, but you can see Raceboy taking Druids so well. But as I said, LSR Wizard is just inches, literally inches behind him right now, and he is just desperately trying to breathe to try and find some room to pass. Of course, this would be a very big pass here, Golden Boy. You're moving 5th into 4th. It's, again, all about that cumulative time, and Wizard is desperately trying to get past Raceboy, but so far, good defensive driving coming in from Raceboy.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can to make sure that he is in a position where he of power, essentially, right? But
little bit of scrap. You could see just how much he was trying to get past, and it's cost him a huge mistake. That is going to put him all the way into last place. And it was the final turn as well. It's just very unfortunate. Of course, that's going to be the end of that race. It's 4 laps already. That absolutely flew by. And on the very last turn, just desperately was trying to get by Raceboy, just couldn't do it. That's highly unfortunate.
That was a tough one. So not sure who took that one, Ben. Do you have that on your end?
Unfortunately, I don't have the mathematics. I didn't have my calculator ready. Hopefully someone in the back can tell us, though. But still, that was a very good race. We saw a little bit of Raceboy there. Yeah. We've been told to kind of keep our eyes out on him. He is someone in the racing community who's highly known and respected as being a fantastic competitor. Yeah. There, I think he ultimately finished at, I believe it was 4th place. So it was a little bit of...
Kitty Crew won that match, by the way.
Kitty Crew wins.
Kitty Crew goes up.
I want to by exactly how much time, because of course, Kitty Crew, that was Raceboy on the Kitty Crew squad. Yeah. And he seemed to be struggling a little bit.
That spin out from Wizard at the end there, I would imagine has certainly cost them quite dearly, because, I mean...
Yeah, you saw that at the very beginning of the race, right?
Yeah.
And then there was one right at the very end of the race as well, that final turn.
Exactly.
Just desperately trying to find those itches. But I feel like in that situation, you kind of have to go for that, right? When you're approaching that final turn, last lap, pressure's on, you need to shave those seconds. You have to absolutely just gun it. You have to go for it. You really do. I believe the next map we are going to see, though, is going to be Prague. Now, Prague is a fantastic track in Forza. I'm very excited to be going over to this track specifically. As you can see, the track length of 3.51 miles. Lap record not available, Golden Boy, because this actually is not a real-life track. It's something the wonderful guys over at Turn 10 have managed to develop themselves. I came up with the important turn names myself because I was feeling very creative. My creative juices were flowing. Park Corner, Turn 3. It's very self-explanatory. Many people that have played this track before will know Park Corner. It is a huge turn, and it starts off with a pretty big incline going into that turn, and then a massive decline as your car is going to accelerate all the way out of that turn. And as you can see, it's namely called Park Corner, Golden Boy, because there is a park to the right-hand side.
Wow, man, that is so smart. Dude, you're so smart.
That's why I make the big money.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, why you gotta hate, man? Yeah. Why you gotta hate? Look at that turn. I just want to say I may have recorded that turn myself, and I think I took that.
I believe you have all the assists on, though, right?
Actually, no, I didn't. No, I'm not that.
When I turned on,
Alex, no one wants to know about that. Turn 10. That's what the people want to know about. That's going to be Cathedral. This really is the final turn on this track, and it is a big hairpin. Many people will recognize this. It's been in a lot of promotional videos. It was also in the intro video where you saw that Bugatti storm around the corner. But it's the final turn, and it is going to be one of the most important turns. You cannot allow mistakes on that turn, because if you do, it's just going to go catastrophically wrong.
Oh, yeah, that is a sharp turn. Look at that there, man. That is a tough one. I tell you, certainly a turn to keep out for. And honestly, we're going to have to keep an eye out in general, just better eye, I should say, because, don't get me wrong, that was the first time I've ever actually casted Forza. So I will gladly say that it was so quick, it was so intense, but it was great to see how the players and really tried to fake each other out, but also play defensive driving, right?
Definitely. I mean, you saw Raceboy doing a lot of that.
Exactly. He was doing a splendid job of defensive driving. I was legitimately surprised. I mean, Wizard just had no chance to get through him, and
he was trying so hard going into Druids. He's so close to finding.
The only window he had was right at the end, and just absolutely lost it, man. And that certainly did hurt his team. But you know what, though? You live and you learn. Now you just got to move on to the next one. It is going to be a best of 3. Keep that in mind. So Toaster's not out of it just yet. Kitty Crew, though, if they win this, they will go on to the next round. The winner's bracket, as a matter of fact, they will wait upon the winner of, I believe we have, what is it going to be? ERS versus Reaver coming up. And then the loser of that game faces off against, well, if Toasters go there, if it ends up ending at this point. Maybe. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm feeling the game 3.
Feeling the game 3?
Feeling the game 3.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
This one's tough. This is a tough course.
It is going to be pretty tough. Of course, Swerve Wizard and Spencer are going to be desperately trying to fight back and force that game 3. Prague, as we mentioned, it's a tricky track. It really is. It's actually that tricky. F1 is actually looking at potentially making it a course and putting it on the Formula 1 circuit. This guy was absolutely sensational. Look at that nice, beautiful car as well. But heading into map, or track, rather, number 2. We're is Kitty Crew.
Maps.
We are. It's Kitty Crew, who is 1-0 in the lead. Of course, that roster, Raceboy, Harmonic, and Strata Shots. We'll keep an eye out to see if they can potentially put themselves in a position to close out this series. After race number 1, it definitely looks as if they have that capability. Of course, it will be 4 laps of the Prague. It's the full circuit as well. So this one is definitely going to be kicking off in style. I want to get on board with Raceboy, who I believe is actually going to be starting off in 3rd. We both changed perspective at the exact same time. Smooth.
We did.
Smooth.
I ended up hitting.
Don't worry about it. I got Raceboy.
Yeah,
I got a nice cinematic view.
The wrong button, but it's okay.
Smooth, bro.
Yeah, we all make mistakes.
Oh, you hit B, didn't you?
I did hit B.
You
hit B.
You done hit the B
now
button.
I could just join back in.
You can just hit Y.
Hit Y? Okay,
Y.
fantastic. I'll be there in a second. So sorry.
Little look at Raceboy's perspective though right now as he's approaching that tricky park corner. We'll see, is he actually going to be able to pass? You see him go wide on the outside and is able to cut back as well. So a nice turn coming in from him. He's going to try and get a little bit of draft as well. Here is that just risky, or not necessarily risky, but tricky incline as you go up, and then immediately the decline on the outside of park corner. You can see there are a couple of cars going past each other. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to switch over to a first-person perspective.
Do what you got to do.
And we'll see exactly what we can find from Raceboy's perspective. He is currently sitting in 3rd place. In fact, make that 4th place, but he may actually be able to cut on the inside here. Oh, it's going to be a difficult angle, and he's not actually going to be able to do it. Decides against it for now, but you can see he is like a tiger in the wild, stalking his prey, looking on the inside once again as they head through tunnel, and he is going to get the better of that 4th place driver right now, and he's going to cruise safely into 3rd place. Who is that? Who is that he just passed? Was it Swerve?
Yeah, that was Swerve.
Swerve, okay.
Swerve.
And what makes this extremely interesting to me is watching how teammates overtake each other. We saw that a little bit in Brands Hatch. They're very, very cautious. If someone is coming, they have the draft, teammates just kind of allowing the teammate to pass, essentially, just making sure they don't cause a collision, because if 2 teammates crash into each other, Golden Boy, that's catastrophe.
Oh, of course, and that would probably be the worst thing you could ever hope for here. So we'll see how these 2 guys are able to work together, make this happen. You have Harmonic in 1st. You have Strata Shots in 2nd. Raceboy in 3rd.
Just to put that into perspective, that is the entire Kitty Crew squad, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. They are dominating here on Prague. So the big question is, how close is Swerve? He's in 4th place right now, of course.
He's on his tail, but he's just having a hard time being able to overtake. I mean, they're hitting these turns. He's hitting them as well as he possibly could here, and I'm actually trying to take a look and see.
I want to put this into perspective for you, Golden Boy. Swerve, of course, in 4th place. This is Wizard in 5th place. As you can see on your perspective, Swerve is just approaching park corner. And Wizard, he's just now on the incline. He's so far behind. He can't even see 4th place from where he is right now. He has a big gap to potentially try and close. Considering this is a cumulative time of the team, you have to think Toasters are going to be in some massive trouble. And the only way I can possibly see something coming back for Toasters is going to be a mistake coming in from Kitty Crew. Of course, there are 4 laps in this race. Harmonic is still in 1st place, and I believe he is comfortably in 1st place. It doesn't look like anything is going to go wrong for him. He's already approaching tunnel, so he has around about 5-6 seconds on anyone right now from Toasters, and he's just racing a beautiful race. I actually want to take a look at his perspective real quick. I know he's in 1st place, not really going to see much action, but of course you're taking a look at 2nd place right now. You can kind of still see the 1st place racer, but honestly, this is a beautiful race coming in from Harmonic.
Raceboy's in 3rd, and then we have Strata Shots in 2nd. And of course, Harmonic rounding out that 1st place spot there. So again, they're just overall, man, they're just doing a good job holding this off, ensuring that no one's going to get past them. Here comes the Cathedral turn here, turn 10, and they hit it lovely. Both of them going at it at 101 miles per hour, which is quite impressive.
Pretty quick.
And honestly, man, just overall impressive. Overall impressive performance here from Kitty Crew. Nothing really stopping them. I think is the name. Truthfully, I honestly think that's
really
the
is.
only solution here.
Harmonic still in first, Stretchshot still in second, and Raceboy still in third. So again, the question is, how close is Swerve? The answer, still hunting down Raceboy. As we go over to my perspective, this is really going to be the racer to watch. Can Swerve potentially try and cause a kerfuffle or some mistakes from Kitty Crew? Right now, as I mentioned, it doesn't seem that way. Kitty Crew are just racing fantastically. A beautiful take there of Park Corner coming in from Swerve, but it's just not enough. It really isn't going to be enough because, as we mentioned, first and second, they're now going to be at least 15 seconds, I would guess, ahead. And that is a big, big hunk of time. Of course, Prague, one of the bigger tracks we're going to see today, coming at 3.51 miles. If you make one small mistake or you don't get that good start you need, Golden Boy, you're going to be left for dust. And that is exactly what we've seen Kitty Crew do here today.
Yeah, I'm looking at the different perspectives here. Spin serve, I'm checking him out. He's all the way in that tail position there right at the end, and he is just not having a good run at all. I mean, you basically, at this point, everyone is kind of just like gone so far up. There's just no chance that Spin Serve is able to get back into this one. It's unfortunate, right? But really just the way that Kitty Crew set themselves up at the start of the race, and they never really looked back. You know, they hit Park Corner very well. They continued on to turn 4 and looked dominant there too. It really was just, I mean, honestly, just kind of blown away with how well they performed at the start of the race and just never looked back.
I mean, Harmonic now coming into the final lap of the race, and considering he's in first place, he has just such a lead, Alex, and I mean a massive, massive lead. Take a look on your perspective. Is it still going to be? Yeah, it is. It's still top 3 for Kitty Crew. They just don't look. They don't look challenged at all, really, do they? I mean, Stratashot's still going to be in second place. I'm going to see just how far behind he is. I mean, I don't want to say he's fallen too far behind, but there's definitely a little bit of a gap kind of starting to develop. But it doesn't matter because we're on the same team, Alex. It does not matter at all.
Yeah, it's again, it's just a matter. It's unfortunate for USA Toasters. Clearly, you know, now you're gonna have Spin Serve hitting the Cathedral turn.
I mean, just put that in perspective. First place, second place have already fully gone through Park Corner. They're gone. They're at this point so far ahead that it has to be pretty demoralizing to be on the Toaster squad, because by the time you've approached turn 1, your opposition is going to turn 9, turn 8.
Yeah.
And that's not just one racer. That's, you know, multiple of them. I believe Raceboy, he's not actually too far behind. He's going through tunnel right now, as you can see. So, all in all, just fantastic racing from Kitty Crew. And I think, more importantly than anything else, this is a huge statement for the other teams in this tournament today. If they're watching this stream and they're thinking, you know what, I quite fancy that first place prize. Well, this is what you're going to be going up against. A just fantastic squad in the form of Kitty Crew.
Yeah, and taking a look here at
Raceboy's so quick.
I have Swerve on my end. I mean, he's quite behind him.
Oh, there has been an accident there though, but Raceboy, I think he's gonna fall into second place. But again, the gap's that big.
Wait a minute.
I don't think it's even gonna make any difference. It was Harmonic that had a little bit of a mistake just approaching Cathedral, but as I said, it doesn't matter. The confetti flies, and rightfully so. All in all, a fantastic race from Kitty Crew. They've just played so very well. I think Harmonic did he fall all the way back to third? I think he did fall back to third, and that's gonna be Swerve. All the way back in fourth, but you can see that gap has actually closed. He's done a good job there for the Toaster squad. But the question, Alex, is it going to be enough?
Yeah, and if I'm understanding that right, I think Swerve
just passed. He's in third place right now.
Is he?
Pretty sure. If I had to guess, I'm gonna check on my perspective because it doesn't. Oh no, he's still in fourth.
No, I think he passed his teammate.
Oh, maybe. Well, all that matters is top 3 still the same races. It's still.
I hope I'm wrong here because he passed someone just now, and
the race is over.
Oh my goodness!
The race is over. The confetti flew.
The confetti flew.
The confetti flew.
What more?
Kitty Crew just completely dominated that.
Yeah.
It was very, very simple for them. You know, we kind of looked at the positioning more that time of the roster as a whole, and first, second, and third for the entire race.
Very impressive.
That's going to win you. That should be enough to to win on a calculated time. But honestly, yeah, you know, fair play to Toasters. Of course, they're not out yet. There is a losers bracket, so we will still see from them. But all in all, you've got to be so impressed. I mean, we talked a lot about Race Boy at the beginning, kind of saying, you know, he is a well-known name. Really, though, you know, Harmonic and Strike Shots, they race very, very well.
Yeah, you know, again, you really just have to give credit where credit is due to this Kitty Crew roster. I mean, clearly they started that race off so strong, and really it came down Spencer really struggling to get anything going. He had some damage at the back of his car, so it looked like there was a sizable accident that hit him that we probably missed at the beginning of the race.
He fell really far back.
Yeah, I mean, he fell insanely far back. So I think that really did affect them.
We actually have a replay as well of Cathedral Turn, I believe it is. We'll take a look at this. Of course, you can see all the way down, and it was a pretty slow race. I mean, you can see took it rather nicely, but that's the exact line you want to take. But if there is a mistake, you know, mistakes are going to cost you.
Yeah, it was just, again, Spencer, that was at that tail end of the game. It's
too late,
He was hitting Cathedral Turn when everyone else was already at Park Corner. They were already there.
Depressing.
Yeah, I mean, they were at Turn 3, already thinking about Turn 4. And when you're just hitting Turn 10, like, that is...
Especially because you're going to know about it too, because you're going to be listening to your teammates communicating about it. Of course, they have the mini-map as well, the bottom left, so they're going to see where the opposition are. And it's going to be
it's
pretty
tough.
depressing, that's for sure.
Tough.
But of course, it isn't over for Toasters. They will fall into the loser bracket. Congratulations, though, to Kitty Crew as they progress through. For now, though, we're going to get a quick commercial break. When we return, more Forza 6 Motorsport action.
and welcome back to the MLG Forza 6 Motorsport Final. I'm Golden Boy, joined by Benson, as we're getting ready for our next matchup coming up. Now, we have an update, as a matter of fact, for you guys back at home. So we did say that we were going to be checking out ERS versus Rever. That ended up not being the case, unfortunately. Rever had to forfeit from the competition.
Someone's in hospital.
Yeah, something happened. Of course, we wish all the best to the Rever guys. Yeah. It's unfortunate. Really wanted to see them play, but that means that they will be moving on to the loser semis. But because they forfeited, they forfeited from the actual competition in general, Toasters will move on to the losers finals,
which means they make money.
They make money. They make money, and Spencer doesn't have to feel bad about being lapped on. So that's good. Needless to say, though, we have Kitty Crew versus ERS. Don't know what to expect here from this ERS group, but I'm quite excited nonetheless. Want to just point out too, of course, these guys using one of my favorite cars ever created, the Alfa Romero. So I'm a fan. I love that car. So it's a car my father loves. Like, he's a car fanatic, and if he had seen all these cars, he would pick them up from a mile away. That's why
just stop talking.
Hey, dude, I think it's a great family activity. Okay, Ben. Why are you gotta be so rude?
You do you, boo-boo. You do you. Let's talk about the tracks that we're going to see in the winners bracket final. We're actually going to start off on Brands Hatch Indy again. So we're going to see the same track that we just saw coming in as track number 1. Of course, it is going to be ERS versus Kitty Crew. The winners bracket final. Kitty Crew looking fantastic. Excited to see what we can see from ERS. Of course, there are a little bit of information about the track. If you are just joining us, you happen to miss race 1. Track length 1.21 miles. The lap record is a 38 seconds and 32 milliseconds. Very, very quick. Important turns. We've got turn 2 Druids and turn 4 Surtees. This is, of course, going to be the Indy variation of Brands Hatch. Fun fact for you, Scott Mansell holds the track record on the Indy track, and Nigel Mansell holds the Grand Prix record at 1 minute 9 seconds, but they're not related. Same name, though.
Wow, look at that. Look at that.
Research, baby.
You just
I'm a book of knowledge. Knowledge.
Looked up the track on Wikipedia and then just got some information.
It isn't that easy. You'd be very surprised at how difficult it is to find that out.
Really?
I had to get on the phone with Scott. I was like, hey, Scott, you related?
You called your boy Scott?
I called Scott Mansell. I was like, yo, are you actually related to Nigel Mansell? He was like, no.
Oh,
the same name.
He said that to you, did he?
Fun fact, he did.
Wow, that's amazing.
I actually had him on speed dial. Speed dial 1.
Who would have thought? Speed dial 1?
Speed dial 1.
I thought I was speed dial 1.
We bros. Now you got them down. You're 2.
Damn!
But as we mentioned, that of course is going to be track number 1. Very excited to see the new squad, the squad we haven't seen race yet, the ERS team, because we've seen Kitty Crew. They were very, very good at Brands Hatch. The important turns they completely nailed. Druids and Saltese, they just kind of flew by, no mistakes whatsoever. They stayed on the racing line, and they just made relatively easy work, to be completely honest with you, of their opposition. Now coming in for the ERS squad, I don't really know what to expect from them. I feel like if they've watched race 1 on stream, they kind of know what to expect coming in from Kitty Crew, but it is all going to be about the start, Golden Boy.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, right, it looks like all these players are going to be using the Alpha 33 Stardale, right, which has a 9.3 acceleration. So that start is going to be very important for these guys, right? You're going to want that initial acceleration, push yourself further there. But furthermore, too, right, it has some pretty decent handling, but the acceleration, because when you come off those turns, you want to be able to accelerate as quick as you can.
And you have to remember, it's a small track, right? 5 turns.
Exactly. So acceleration is going to be your best friend here, right? As you hit these turns, it seems like all these players kind of feel the same way. But and I hope I'm not reading this wrong. It seems like Smoke is opting to use the Dodge Viper, 2013 Dodge Viper.
Hey,
which,
man,
as an American, I love. And never mind, he's choosing his car.
Just remember,
hello, darkness, my old friend.
He's racing in the motherland.
He
picked the Alpha, right?
He picked the Alpha. We're pretty much an Alpha mirror match.
Everyone is going to pick everyone is going to pick the Alpha. Every single racer, no surprise there.
I was excited. I was like, you know what?
It's never going to happen.
It was a little risky.
You're not going to use a Viper on Brands Hatch. It's just, no, that is team suicide, essentially, is what that would be. That is how you cause a loss for your teammates right there. But it seems as if everyone just kind of readying up, and I believe the countdown should start any second now, just waiting on Harmonic, and there it is. Countdown has begun, heading into race number 1, Brands Hatch Indy variation, of course, in our track number 1 of our winners final. Golden Boy, this one definitely going to be one to look out for. Now, in terms of Kitty Crew, we have to give a lot, and I mean a lot of love to Stratashots and Harmonic. Those two.
Oh, indeed.
We talked a lot about Raceboy, of course, but those two so blisteringly quick. That's for sure.
Actually, we were talking with Brian, who'll be joining us later on in the broadcast, and he was telling us that Harmonic is one of the fastest drivers in the world.
Well, he was racing like it. That's for sure.
Yeah, he definitely was, man.
Oh, was quick.
Raceboy's like, yeah. You have that first place. It's all good.
Yeah, you can take it. Don't worry about it, because I'm
got
it. I'm right behind you, dude.
I'm here, man. I'm your friend.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, man. So we're going to see how this all pans out for these guys. It's now time to get into the action here. And excited nonetheless, Ben. Who do you want to kick things off with first?
I'm going to go on board with Smoke from ERS. He's currently in second, but as you can see, just as he approaches turn number 2, he has to be careful. And this is exactly what I was worried about as you approach Druids. You leave a space on the inside, and just like that, he is going to get done. But can he try and reply?
Well, the good news is this. ERS has the first, second, and third position here. So they came out strong.
Just as you say that, there was a little bit of a mistake, and that's going to be Raceboy flying, and that is a catastrophe! He's completely off the course, and as you can see, a huge gap has now developed between himself. That's going to put him in 6th, and honestly, you have to feel sorry for Smoke there. That one small error, Golden Boy, that came in, and now he is so far behind. He needs a clean remaining 3 laps because he has to reduce that time.
Goodness, speaking of, man, you have Hornet, Shadow Fox,
they
and
just
Smoke.
all got overtaken.
It just flipped.
They were all in the top 3, and then Kitty Crew on the final turn essentially just blitzed past everyone. And I think that little mistake that we kind of saw there from Smoke cost his teammates as well, because they had to make sure they got out of the way. They had to try and adjust back onto the racing line. And as you said, everyone else now has just blitzed into the top 3 from Kitty Crew. In 4th place is Hornet, 2nd place is Raceboy, 3rd place is Stratashots, and 1st place is Harmonic again. Harmonic really racing very well today.
Yeah, I want to see what's going on with Hornet here, who we're actually going to be checking out his. I'm checking out his POV right now.
Okay.
He's relatively behind here, but still, right? I mean, we saw the craziness that had occurred earlier. There's a very strong possibility that Hornet could make this work in his favor.
Oh, I want to point this out. It seems as if Stratashots could be potentially lapping, and I can't believe I'm saying this, lapping on Brands Hatch Indy. You can see just how quick Stratashots is. There is a car just in the distance now. Bear in mind, he's in 2nd place right now. So, you know, 1st place is going to be Harmonic. And you can see one racer just a couple of cars down the line.
Yeah, Smoke.
That's how quick Kitty Crew is. This is insane.
Jeez.
They are blisteringly quick. Harmonic, as I said, he's still in 1st place, and he's just so far away, Golden Boy. It is crazy. Brands Hatch, of course, a very, very small track, 1.21 miles, and we kind of said at the beginning, small mistakes will cost you on this track. We saw the mistake come in, and no surprise. Guess where all the RS are? Well, they're not in the top 3, I can tell you that.
No, they just gave that one up real quick, and they had a strong start too, but ERS, man, some aggressive driving got them that 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place position. Hornet, though, I'm checking him out as he is trying his absolute best to catch up to Raceboy. But Raceboy is giving him nothing to work with here. And furthermore, he's just hitting these turns wonderfully. You know, obviously doing good work around the apex there, just coming in where he needs to. And really, it's bad. It's bad for ERS. I'm sure this is not how they had envisioned it going.
Yeah, that's...
oh, wait a minute.
For sure. Oh, another huge mistake comes in.
Both of them, as a matter of fact, end up messing up. And
Stratashots has just gone flying straight by. Thank you and good night.
Yeah, oh, that's what that was. Okay, I was confused there for a moment.
Don't worry about it. Kitty Crew.
They lost control.
Proving to be very fast, Golden Boy.
Indeed.
And I mean, very quick. I mean, you talked about, Harmonic and Stratashots at the very beginning, saying they're both blisteringly quick. That's exactly what we saw. But again, it wasn't necessarily that Kitty Crew just came out and did flawless racing. We saw the mistakes come in from ERS, and that is ultimately what cost him. You saw, I believe it was turn 2, small mistake comes in, and the final turn 5, huge mistake comes in. Just as we're approaching that final straight, completely falls off track, and you saw that gap just develop immediately.
Yeah.
And as you said, you had 1st, 2nd, and 3rd was all ERS going into turn 4, and as soon as they got into turn 1 of lap 2, it completely changed. Kitty Crew in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Yeah, and you called turn 4, right? You said turn 4 is definitely one that you have to be very careful about. Now we're going to be moving on to the Sonoma Grand Prix,
yes,
which will be our track number 2. Of course, this track located in the land that Donald Trump built, America. Okay, that's where we are.
Really?
Yes, indeed. And of course, important turns to check out here. Turn 7, which Ben did not give a name.
It's actually, I promise you, it's actually called turn 7.
I think
Sonoma GP, and a real track. It is Sonoma Raceway, formerly known as Sears Point Raceway, and Ifanino Raceway as well, for some of you guys that may have actually recognized this track. But as I mentioned, turn 7 is actually called turn 7, and it is going to be a very tough turn, especially considering there's going to be 6 racers in the game, or 6 drivers, I should say, in the game. You can see it's a very tricky hairpin. And the key is you have to nail turn 7, because when you get to the chicane at turn 9, if you've messed up on turn 7, guarantee you're going to be on the bad racing line going into the chicane, and this is where you could potentially see even more mistakes happen. You have to be quick on the brakes and even quicker on the acceleration out of that chicane. But as I said, Sonoma GP, real course. The road course actually features 160 feet of total elevation change. So that is a lot of elevation change right there, Golden Boy.
Yep, and these also our competitors are changing their cars. They're actually going to be using the Lancia Turbo now. So they're opting to use this one, and I think that's partly because...
Is that everyone? It is, right?
Yeah, everyone has switched to the Lancia Turbo. I'm scrolling through it all.
Talk to me about some of the car stats.
Yeah, I mean, well, of course, you're talking about a 6.4 speed there, right? But I don't think that's going to be the most important stat. For me, the most important stat is actually going to be braking, which comes in at 6.8. It's just below 7, but of course, numbers are hard. But the thing is, there's going to be a lot of braking going on here, right? And then,
going into 7.
Of course, you're going to want that, a higher acceleration, but not as much as the Alpha, but still, it is good nonetheless. The Lancia Turbo, just overall great car for these guys to be using.
Definitely. I'm excited to see who is going to come out on top of this one. As we mentioned before, the lap record is a 1:16.4913 by Ryan Briscoe. Very quick. Curious to see if any of our racers taking it close to that.
Yeah, and it's a sizable track too.
It is a big track.
Big boy.
I mean, 2.2 miles. It's not massive, we're not talking kind of Prague distance, but it is still difficult. And what makes it difficult is that elevation change. As I said, some of these turns, dependent on which game camera a lot of these guys are using, if they're using first person, you can't see some of the turns you're approaching.
Yeah, which honestly, in a track like this, I don't see why you would use first person. You
never know.
Want to be able to look at third person. I mean, I just think it makes sense, right? You want to see the cars that are around you. You want to know what's going on. You want to know where the dips are coming into. Those are going to be very important. So we'll see how these players react to that as we get ready for the game here. Yeah, I mean, overall, and I'm trying to see if there's any changes here. Got a couple cool little liveries. Flash Gumby designing delivery for Shadow Fox.
Nice.
I think VXR Stu designing delivery for Smoke. So we'll see those in the game. I love the designs. It's one of the things I love about Forza, man. You have
you can customize everything.
Yeah, you can really just go nuts with the cars and how they look.
This is my favorite map fly through, by the way. I want to point out, just check out this green Mustang. Absolutely crazy. Cutting corners, borderline.
Is that you?
No, it wasn't me, I promise. But this guy gave us all the barrel laughs. We kind of had to include this a little bit of a troll kind of map fly through. But as I kind of mentioned, turn 7, definitely watch out for that. In 2012, the course was actually modified to kind of a Magny Core's famous hairpin. They actually extended the size of the corner, so you will see more passing going in through turn 7. So there is a little bit of a mistake. That, I think, is where we shall see it. And of course, at turn 9A, the chicane, very similar to Spa's new bus stop. It was widened by 10 feet as well to allow more room. So they're not just important turns in the sense that I think people are going to potentially fail and crash. They're also very important turns because they've been widened and they have more space now for passing room.
All right, and we're off. Harmonic, of course, no surprise here. One of the fastest racers in the world is going to be in first place as we get ready for our first turn here. And he's hit. This one goes a little bit into the grass, which should be enough here for his teammate, actually. Strata shots to overtake, but hey, you want your teammate to be in that kind of a position there. Raceboy rounding it out in third place. But overall, though, I mean, you got to give a shout out to Strata Shots and Harmonic, but for just how well these guys race. They are incredible.
And you can see first place right now, on my perspective, already pretty comfortable. It just came again from a small mistake. Luckily, though, it was his teammate that made the small mistake. It was nothing too crazy. You just changed over to, I believe that's Shadow Fox in 4th. Now,
That's right.
as you can see, not too far behind here. Still definitely doable as they approach a tricky turn, but that's very late on the braking, and he is going to drift a little wide there, and that gap may just increase a little bit, but no, very quick on the acceleration. He should be okay. But again, if that gap starts to increase, you're going to have problems, because as it stands, all of Kitty Crew currently in the top 3. And where he went wide there, that was that turn 7. Now approaching turn 9. This is the tricky chicane. And as you can see, Shadow Fox has done a fantastic job just reducing that distance, but it is not going to be enough for him to find an opportunity to pass going into the final really long straight here before he goes into lap number 2. Kitty Crew in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, still cruising comfortably, but Shadow Fox is on the heels, I think it's fair to say.
He's on the tail, man. What's going on with our boys in the 5th and 6th there?
I mean, Hornet right now, he's in 5th.
Close race.
Hornet is directly behind. Smoke is currently in 6th. I don't know how far behind Smoke actually is.
Smoke is
he fallen?
He's fallen behind substantially,
Okay.
but he should. I mean, you know, it's going to be very hard for him.
He's fallen.
He's playing the catch-up game
now,
right now.
the interesting thing here for me is Hornet and Shadow Fox, teammates. At what point does Shadow Fox allow Hornet to go by? Because Hornet has been on the heels of Shadow Fox now for some period of time. But at the same time, you don't want Shadow Fox to fall off drastically because it is a cumulative time. So realistically, they need a mistake to come in from Kitty Crew here on lap number 2 as they go down the little bit of a steep decline. Is Hornet going to potentially think about Shadow Fox? You can see them trying to find the racing line, but this is turn 7, and if they're not careful, this could be a little bit of a mistake coming from ERS. Hornet has just decided to completely go for it, and you know, fair play to him. He wants to get up and he wants to try and get on Kitty Crew's heels, but as it stands, it is still Kitty Crew.
Maybe
first,
he just
second,
feels
and
like
third.
his teammate will be in a better position to get into that angle, right?
I mean, if that was a team decision, that was very well executed because that was a tricky turn to try and make a move like that. But it's worked nevertheless, and you have Hornet in 4th place. Still hunting down Kitty Crew. They're still 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And it's basically single file for these guys right now, Golden Boy. They are within feet of each other, and they haven't made any mistakes. And that is what is very, very impressive to me. Because if, say, who's in 2nd place right now? Let's say Harmonic makes a mistake, and Raceboy, because he's so close to Harmonic, could potentially wipe out 2 cars.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're probably hoping that Raceboy Hornet forces a mistake for Raceboy here, right?
The problem is he's falling now. He's actually starting to trail a little bit. The gap is widening between 4th and 3rd. Hornet, he took a couple of corners pretty bad, and as you can see on your screen, basically what's happened is the driver in 5th, Shadow Fox, who you see on your perspective right now, is already approaching Hornet. So as he went into turn 7 on lap 2, it was basically, you know, roles were reversed. You had on your screen, Shadow Fox was in 4th and Hornet was trailing, and now after a couple of small mistakes from Hornet, Shadow Fox is right up the bumper, and that gap has massively increased between 3rd, which was Raceboy, and Hornet, which is 4th. Going into turn 7 once again, you're going to see Hornet very, very late on the brakes, trying to get around as quickly as he possibly can. Shadow Fox is directly behind him, but it should be all good for Kitty Crew.
This is Kitty Crew's race to lose at this point, Ben. There's no way that Hornet can come back into this, man. Like, Hornet, Smoke's not even a factor. Right?
Smoke is
he's all the way back there in Carajo land. There's no way he's gonna come back. And to be truthfully here, man, like, this was from the start. This was the Kitty Crew. ERS just could not get it together. They could not figure out how to break through that. And, you know, obviously a couple key turns probably would have helped them, maybe cutting some corners here. But when you're talking about a race that's, you know, going pretty much 4 laps, when everyone's using, I would say, the same car here, it all comes down to technique.
If you want to follow Raceboy on Twitter, you can do so at the Raceboy77 as he's put on the back of his car. Honestly, you may think, oh, well, you know, he hasn't won these races, but he's doing a very, very good job of holding down and locking down that 3rd place position. Isn't allowing anyone from ERS to even get close. And you can see 1st and 2nd. 2nd is Harmonic currently. 1st is Strata Shots, comfortably cruising ahead of Raceboy. And 4th place still going to be Hornet, just not in a position to overtake. How far behind actually is Hornet?
He's substantial. Let me go ahead and jump over there.
Because Raceboy now is just approaching turn 7. To be fair,
Hornet's at turn 7 now.
He's not that far behind. He is about the turn distance away. By the time he approached the turn, you had Raceboy kind of exiting the turn. But all in all, this has just been fantastic racing from Kitty Crew once again, Golden Boy.
Yeah, and it will be very exciting to watch ERS face off against Toasters, because I believe this is also a best of 3. Correct?
Yes.
So it will be very exciting to see those two clubs face off against one another, because I think that, you know, when you're talking about this Kitty Crew roster and you talk about guys like Harmonic and even, you know, Stratashots as well, they're just too good.
Yep.
They clearly know what they want to do, and I mean, it's impressive. It's very impressive how they just dismantled
once again
their opponent.
First, second, and third for Kitty Crew. We were kind of worrying a little bit. Maybe we had to get the calculators out, start calculating some difficult times, but
Not
Kitty
really.
Crew, thanks, man. You're making our job easier.
Making life very, very simple. A great run from Kitty Crew. They move on to the grand finals of the team competition. Remember, guys, we have plenty more to come here. We have a 1v1 competition coming up, as well as the NASCAR exhibition, which will be exciting. But Kitty Crew will be in the grand finals. They will play for their share of this $5,500 prize pool, where they will take home $1,100 a person. A lot of money to play some Forza. So, of course, congratulations to Kitty Crew. They are one step closer to becoming the champions. And based off of what we've seen so far, they are the clear favorites, in my opinion. Clear favorites.
They are cruising through the rounds that we've seen them play. But I think this next losers bracket final is definitely going to be interesting.
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, you have two teams who have both, from what we've seen, made small mistakes. Nothing drastic. Got to be fair to them. They've had some very, very good racing. But those small mistakes have cost them against Kitty Crew. Now when you put them against each other, I think we should have a good race.
That's right. It's going to be exciting, folks. Can't wait to see it. It will be ERS versus the USA Toasters, who will come out on top to move on to the grand finals against Kitty Crew. Find out on the other side. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Of course, guys, this is the MLG Forza Motorsport 6 Finals as we are getting ready for the loser bracket final. I'm Golden Boy. That's Benson.
Hello.
And very exciting matches that we've seen so far. Kitty Crew in the grand finals, awaiting the winner of this game. Everyone right now in the money. But Kitty Crew clearly looking dominant, but we'll worry about Kitty Crew later. We're actually going to be concerned with this losers finals coming up next, which will be Toasters versus ERS.
If I'm Toasters and I'm ERS, I'm very worried about Kitty Crew.
Well, I mean, right now...
Kitty Crew is giving both of them the 2-0 sweetness.
Indeed they have. Indeed they have. So, challenge is certainly going to be there for these two teams, but the challenge right now is getting to that grand final. So, we have, overall, though, a pretty good track set so far, right, for this one?
We do. We're going to go into track number 1. It's going to be Rio Coast. Got to give a shout out to the devs on Rio Coast. They've made the game look absolutely beautiful. I mean, it is stunning to race around.
I was actually in Rio de Janeiro.
You just have to one-up me, huh?
I did.
That's how it is. Okay, cool.
I was there.
I'm talking about how beautiful the game is. You were actually there. What was it like?
It was beautiful.
Okay,
yeah,
so good job, Turn 10, making the game look
That looks just like the place I went to.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, no, I was there.
Cool.
I was
okay,
there.
great. You're on the beach just chilling. Of course, the track
Actually, I'm curious as to where this is located because it does look like Copacabana. It is Copacabana. Oh my goodness, I'm excited.
All right, Golden Boy, we get it.
Man.
You're a cultured man. You travel the world.
No, I just really love those beaches. The waves.
All right,
kill
we get
you.
it. You're making everyone jealous.
Yeah,
okay?
I would just drive the car into the wave.
That's probably not going to do well on your insurance. Either way, though, track length 1.32 miles. Lap record, of course, not available. Doesn't exist. Isn't a real track, despite its beautiful looks.
Fun fact too. This is actually so this is a Rio has been in Forza, you know, like the actual track itself. This is a different track, but Rio in all its glory and all its beauty has been in Forza since the very first Forza game. So it's actually kind of cool to see Rio back at it one more time. Of course, Brazil is just a gorgeous place, having been there myself, Ben.
It's stunning. Okay, we get it. You're a man of culture. Let's talk about the track, though, Golden Boy, not just Brazil as a whole. Important turns for me is going to be waterfront. This is going to be a very, very aggressive turn number 2, as you can see on your screens. If you make one small error on that track, I'm telling you, Golden Boy, you're going to be dropping places so very quickly. It's such an important turn. You have to make sure you get it right. Pressure is going to be on. Again, it's worth mentioning, this is 3v3s. This is a team, right? You make one small mistake, as we saw in both the winners final and the semi-final, it can cost you massively. And then as we talk about turn number 5, cobblestone, it isn't necessarily the biggest track as a whole. I mean, there's only 6 turns, so really this is the second to last turn. Cobblestone, you need to make sure you hit that hairpin nicely, and if you do, you're going to be home free down that final stretch.
Of course, for these two teams, an opportunity to compete in the grand finals against Kitty Crew, who are waiting and trying to see what we have for cars here. So I'm seeing, let's see, a couple Beamers. I'm liking it. You got the
I think
BMW.
they may change.
Yeah, so you have they may change. I don't know. Let's see, a Lancia Turbo here, or Porsche.
So far, everyone has been very consistent on using the same car.
Yeah, but this is interesting. Maybe they go with it, man. I don't know. Maybe they make my life happy. Make me feel good about myself. You know.
You're a man of culture.
I love
Brazil.
I love variety. Variety is the spice of life, Ben. So we have. I'm looking here. BMW Pro car, which should be used here. Pretty nice too.
No, dude. Wizard basically just said, no, you're wrong. He's changing his car.
Is he real? Well, no, Wizard's changing his car.
Oh, okay.
Wizard's changing his car.
Oh, okay. I'll forgive you.
We haven't settled on what the cars are yet. So you know what? I'm gonna hit ready on the spectate, and I'm gonna see what these dudes change their cars to, because this is gonna be quite interesting if they decide to go see Lancia Turbos here for Shadow Fox, Wizard, and Swerve. So okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and they've readied up too, so seems as if their car choice is pretty much confirmed. Wizard he's hovering over the Lancia. Whether he takes that, we'll have to, of course, wait and see. Smokey's gone for the M1. Seems as if Swerve, again, he's hovering over the Lancia as well. They're the final 2 players that need to ready up before this track gets underway. Of course, the losers final. We expect this race to be a little closer than the last one. That is going to be Shaw.
Seen a lot of Lancias getting picked here.
Okay, Spencer as well. He's got Lancia.
Keep in mind, the difference between a pro car, or the BMW, I should say, and the Lancia, is going to be, and you can see these stats here, right? Braking relatively the same, right? I mean, like, it's just not even it's like a fraction of a difference here. But what it's really going to boil down to is the speed. So right here, Lancia Turbo 6.4 on its speed. The Pro Car 6.8. But for that speed, it loses a bit on handling.
Okay.
But if you look at the track, though, you can sacrifice that 0.1 on your handling for speed. I actually like that choice, and if they decide to go in that direction, I would support it. Everyone else is using the Lancia, but you have Hornet, who is using also a Pro Car, and Smoke, who's going to be using a Pro Car. So ERS looking to take a risk here. And all the players are readied up, so they could start this game up any second.
Game is starting right now. We're about to head into track number 1 here at the Losers Final. Bear in mind, Rio Coast, very, very small track, as you were kind of touching on there, Golden Boy. Only 1.32 miles. Compare it a little bit to Brands Hatch Indy, I think. 1.21 miles is Brands Hatch. The only difference is, I think the turns and the corners on Rio are a little bit more kind of vigorous, if you will. They're a little bit sharper, as you kind of saw turn 2. Waterside is a very, very tough turn, and it's as you've shown exactly there. You have a Toyota turn as well as cobblestone to worry about on this track, but I am extremely excited. I think this one should be most likely the closest race we have seen so far in the Team 3v3s, because Kitty Crew have been cruising through the bracket as of yet. Now we get to the loser bracket final, ERS versus the Toasty.
All right, folks, here we go as the match has started, and
I'm on board with Swerve straight off the bat, not gonna lie. He's currently in 4th position. Of course, Swerve looking to try and come in. He is just needs to be careful. This is that tricky turn 2, and already 2 cars go very, very wide there. And look at the pack. It's so close, and the tire wall has been hit by several people.
Oh,
this is a very, very scrappy start to this race. Swerve has dropped all the way down to 5th place. I believe in 6th place is going to be Smoke, and all of ERS now will be in that 4th, 5th and 6th spot, I believe. I'm actually going to quickly just change over to Smoke. Smoke currently sitting in 6th place. He is, well, he's trailing after that cobblestone turn. Didn't do him any favors. Who are you currently on board with, Alex?
Well, I'm looking here, and just an FYI, Spin Serve, Wizard, and Swerve are all in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place positions here.
I thought that was what happened straight after a very, very scrappy turn number 2. All of ERS falling to 4th, 5th, and 6th. I'm actually on board now with Hornet on my perspective, Golden Boy. He is in 4th place, the fastest ERS racer right now. And look at the tires absolutely everywhere. It's causing so much catastrophe, if you will, but Hornet has now passed. That was a very, very clean pass from him. He moves into 3rd place.
But you know why, though? You know why, though? Because Swerve hit those tires, and that cost him on speed there. So you have to be so mindful of those plays. You just cannot push in. You cannot be reckless like that, especially when you have someone on your tail. This is not looking good here. But keep in mind, though, you still have everyone pretty much looking, you know, in that 4th, 5th, 6th position.
Now, this is very impressive from Swerve, because he's currently in 3rd place, and I want you to look at how many cars sit in front of him. Yes, you are correct. Someone is about to get lapped. And again, the tire wall has been hit. A very, very scrappy turn 2. This is exactly why I said, Golden Boy, Waterside is so crucial to pay attention to. Swerve could potentially try and make some plays here. He has Wizard directly in front of him as he approaches Cobblestone. We'll see, can he get a good racing line here? It's pretty much perfect. And another bit of a mistake comes in. Can he get past? But no! A big, big touch has forced him to spin out. And that is very unfortunate for him. He's going to fall very, very far back from what looked as if a great start, and he was closing down as well, Golden Boy. That was the key. He was closing down the distance. Unfortunately, though, it's just not going to be good enough.
Yeah, and back into the action we go here, as currently on board here with Hornet, who
ERS are 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, Golden Boy, by comfortably a big difference at this point.
So that means Toasters just gave up a lot of control.
Yeah, completely. I mean, you saw how close that... I mean, that was a huge mistake.
Wow. I mean, there was just so much that happened there, Ben, that even I have to admit I lost I lost a little track of it, and I have to say that is just impressive from ERS to stay in it. But those turns, man, are brutal, especially the one with the tires there. That is a very difficult turn.
It's waterfront. It's turn 2. It's this turn that you get to kind of see Spin Surf go around right now. If you don't get the good racing line around here, you're so wide across, you have to cut in very quickly. And of course, that's where the tire walls are. So as you're cutting in, you're not only losing valuable time, you're off the driving line, and most likely you're going to hit the tires. And we pretty much saw someone hit the tires every single time they went around that turn. It was very, very scrappy. Not the cleanest of races that we've seen so far today, but nevertheless, ERS cruising with the first, second, and third. But a big, big mistake from Toasters definitely cost them, because you have to think, that happened on, I believe it was the very, very end of lap number 3. That doesn't happen. That mistake doesn't happen. Who knows? Because ERS, again, as they approached that waterfront turn on lap 4, they went wide, and it cost them valuable, valuable time.
I'm pleasantly surprised there. ERS really sticking to it, never really giving up, looking for those opportunities, forcing those opportunities as well, which was the most important thing
Forced
here.
it a little bit too hard, though.
Yeah. I mean, you know, but they end up coming out on top that game. They end up first, second, and third, so no timing needed there.
Just comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable victory. Now we're going to be moving on to Road America for our next matchup. 14 turns on this track.
It's a biggin.
This is a huge track.
Typical Americans.
Oh,
you just love doing things big, don't you? 4.05 miles, Road America. It is a huge trek. Dario Franchitti with the lap record on this track, actually at 139.866. As you said, there's going to be 14 turns, and some of these turns, Golden Boy, are absolutely brutal. I want to bring up Moraine Sweep. It's going to be a very, very tricky turn 5, and it's tricky due to the difference in elevation that you're going to see here. As you approach it, all seems good, but then you have a tricky uphill, and this is where that perspective is going to be key. What perspective are you in? Because as soon as you go up, you have another very, very tough left-hander, and I think this is where you could see a little bit of catastrophe happen. So far, I think I've been pretty spot on with some of the turns. We've seen catastrophe happen on Waterfront, for example. We also saw it.
You just love seeing catastrophe.
I don't. I like seeing clean racing, but it's good to be right every now and then. Moraine Sweep, they're definitely going to be one to keep our eyes out for. And then as well, Canada Corner. It's going to be turn number 12 out of the 14 total turns on the track. It's going to set you up for a clean exit to your lap. And it is going to be very, very important that you make sure you nail this one, I think, because when you have multiple cars, you can see you can drift out wide. If you drift wide by any fraction, you're getting past on the inside for sure, because you have to slam down on the brakes, you have to get yourself back on the racing line, and it costs you valuable, valuable seconds.
So we're starting to see the players starting to make switches to new cars here, and a lot of cool options are actually coming up here, because I'm a huge fan of this one car in particular, the Ford GT. One of the Shelby. It's just a beautiful car.
Interesting.
But yeah, so 8.3 speed. But you're going to notice a couple other choices here, guys. For those of you who joined us at the beginning of the broadcast and may not have as much familiarity with the cars and whatnot. You actually would see the Lotus creeping up there too. 2002 Lotus.
I'm surprised we don't see more Lotuses, because that car is extremely quick. And you talk about Road America, it's a big, big track, right? 4.05 miles. Yes, there's 14 turns. Some of the turns, though, not too brutal. And that Lotus speed is just so quick. The acceleration as well outside of some of those turns. I mean, heading into that turn 5 Moraine Sweep, you're going to need that quick acceleration to get out.
Yeah, and I'm also looking at a couple of these here. I mean, you have some good acceleration, but the Lotus, bring it up here. Look at that speed. I mean, look at that speed. It's absurd just how fast this. That's your car. Clearly, we're not using that one.
I'm using the Gallardo, actually.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Porsche, right? I mean, you're here coming at, what is it? This is going to be 7.7 on that speed, right? But then you go over to this Lotus 9.0. So clearly, Wizard and the crew have a different plan here. I really don't know what that would be. Maybe a little bit more aggressive, driving, perhaps. I don't know. It's exciting stuff though, nonetheless.
And of course, ERS 1-0 up in this best of 3. So we'll have to wait and see if we can have a bit of a rebuttal from Toasters and make this one interesting. But definitely didn't expect a first, second, and third podium sweep there from ERS, but that's what we got. Of course, a couple of other players trying to get in on the action. In
Clearly,
this
they do not know that.
They're excited, man. I've always wanted to race with some of these guys. These guys are like the quickest racers on Forza. Like, they're seriously quick.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, you know, they may not be Kitty Crew quick.
No,
but they're still quick.
Definitely not Kitty Crew quick.
They're still quick. I can't wait for the 1v1s because, as I said, so many of these racers that are on the same team are going to be going up against each other.
Yeah.
That's going to make for some serious entertainment.
That's going to be fun to watch. So I think we're going to get this one started in just a little bit here, folks. So thank you so much for joining us here. If you're just tuning in, this is the MLG Forza 6 Motorsport Finals. We're going into track number 2 here as our friends in ERS won game number 1 in a dramatic fashion. You know, just really forcing mistakes on the Toaster side. Toasters had control for the better part of the game, and then ERS just comes out on top and shocks us all. Benson squealed. It was insane. And now, as we get ready for this one, Kitty Crew, really the team that's been in the pole position throughout this entire competition is...
Yeah, I see what you did there. That's good.
You like it. Has basically been waiting for this matchup to conclude here. And taking a look at some of these cars, I'm seeing... let's see, and I gotta click that. Okay, Ben, I got it.
Just making sure, bro.
So we have the Ford, we have the Shelby GT, the Alpha, Romero,
Porsche as well. Wow, we actually have a very
Porsche
big
718.
very big variation of vehicles for the first time really today.
Yeah,
a lot of different cars.
All of
I like
it. ES or excuse me of Toasters, apologies, are using different cars. So, oh boy, this is going to be fun.
Let's hope it works out.
Excited.
Let's hope it works out for them because, as I said, ERS with the comfortable 1-0 lead after a full first, second, and third sweep in the first track, heading now into Road America on Elkhart Lane.
This is a
United
big
States.
boy. This is a big boy. 4.05 miles, people. This is a huge track. 14 turns as well. Of course, we mentioned it before. You want to be cautious of turns 5 and 12, but let's go ahead and get right into the action as these players are ready to go.
Swerve just got completely passed. He started off in third, and disaster off the break. He has fallen all the way into last place. You have to think, is that the car selection choice biting him in the ass?
But potentially.
I'm just being honest. If you start off in third position and then all of a sudden you're in last place off the opening straight, you've done something wrong.
Yeah, I'm looking around here to see what we have as I switch through a couple camera perspectives. Yeah, I mean, but that Lotus, though, that Lotus is a quickie.
This is Marine Sweep. Now, this is where I think we could potentially see something happen already. One player going very, very wide, and this could allow Swerve to potentially close that gap. Here is that uphill, very, very steep into a very sharp left-hander, and a bit of contact comes in. This could be Swerve's chance to try and pounce, but it doesn't look like it. But that gap has drastically closed. Again, mistakes coming in on turn 5.
And taking a look at Smoke here, I believe that was Wizard that passed him. I'm gonna see. No, that was not. So apologies there.
Someone else going.
Wizard
very, very
is in
wide.
4th place, and you have Swerve currently sitting at 6.
Yep.
Hornet though doing really well. Hornet, Shadow Fox, and Smoke.
All of ERS, first,
owning
second, and third right now. That is important to note. Swerve, as he's trying to get past his teammate, he's actually put contact onto Spin Serve, and that is not what you want to be doing. Remember, this is a team race. It's 3 versus 3, and Spin Serve, obviously, and Swerve not communicating to their best there. It seemed as if he wanted to try and pass, trying to close down that gap, but really the important thing to note here is going to be Wizard in 4th place, Golden Boy. If you could check out what is going on his perspective as he tries to close the gap. And here is, again, the Canada corner. A big mistake. Couple of cars drifting wide. It just seems a little bit of lack of control coming in from Toasters on these really important turns.
I'm trying to see what...
Are you on Wizard's perspective?
Yeah, I'm on Wizard's perspective. I want to know what he...
I mean, Wizard is in 4th, and going into that home stretch, all you can see is 3rd. That tells you how big of a gap Hornet and Shadow Fox has been able to develop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anyone being able to catch up to these guys here. I believe all of ERS was using the Lotuses, if I am correct here. So, yeah, I mean, clearly the different car choices just did not work out for them. I'm jumping over to see what we have. Yeah, you have Hornet on one, on the Esprit. You also have Shadow Fox just crushing it as well. And yeah,
it's amazing. It was all about, like, let's take a quick look back. Man. Lap number 1, just straight off the break was where it all went wrong for Toasters. You cannot allow 3 cars to pass you just on the first turn alone. That's just not going to be acceptable enough in a team game, sadly. And then after that, you look at a Marine sweep, more mistakes coming in from Toasters, and then Canada Corner, turn 12 on this 14-turn course, another mistake comes in. Whereas ERS, for the most part, had a little, just to say that, a little bit of grass contact. Looks as if he was mowing some lawns there, but still managed to keep control of it. As I was saying, though, ERS didn't make those mistakes. And because of that, first, second, and third, once again.
And the other thing, too, is just picking the Lotuses. Right? You're talking about 9.0 speed. 9.0. And when you look at the cars that were chosen on the other side, none of these cars have that same kind of speed potential, right? The Lotus is just gone, especially on these straightaways. Look at the way that they're just tearing through this here. It's just absolutely throwing caution to the wind because they know exactly when those brakes are going to be coming up, and they're hitting those turns lovely, and they can... Granted, they have a 5.5, I believe, on the...
who are you on board with, real quick? Sorry to interrupt. Are you on board with who I think you're on board with?
I'm on board with Hornet.
So you're on board with Hornet, so that means... Are you sure you're on board with Hornet?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Are you 100% sure?
Clicking it.
Let me,
I could jump.
Yeah, you jump. You can go over to my screen. I'm on board with Wizard, who's in 4th place.
Okay.
You just changed to it. Okay, now who?
Okay, so Shadow, and then jumping over to Hornet, who's in 1st, and he's in 1st.
Wow, okay.
That's because he's using the Lotus, man. It is a fast car.
I mean, that's extremely quick, because if I'm not mistaken, there's no way that's possible. There's no way. there is no way Wizard... Has Wizard been lapped?
Yeah, I
Wizard has been lapped! Oh my god, prayers! Oh, my prayers go out to the Toasters family. ERS. Have lapped. That's... Dude, that can't be... am I seeing
things? The
Lotus
is not... It's not a game. You think it's a game. It's not a game. The Lotus is not a game.
Well,
again, we talk about just the raw speed of this vehicle. Mm-hmm. It is a fast beast. 9.0 once again. And I'm not sure... I didn't get a chance to look at like who was grabbing what. But again, when you talk about all these players, they know that these straightaways were the most important thing, and this is when they were going to tear away from them, right? The Alpha is just not going to compete with it, right? The Alpha, if I'm correct, 6.7 speed on the Alpha versus the Lotus with 9.0. There's no contest here.
I can't believe how quick the ESR guys have been around Road America. This is a huge track, guys. This is a 4.05 mile track with 14 turns, some of which are very, very difficult.
ESR, by the way. You said ESR?
ESR, sorry.
Because
ERS. Shut. You know what I mean.
This isn't the esports
sorry,
report, man.
Dude. Okay, I was excited. My point is still valid, okay, Golden Boy. How quick these guys actually are is tremendous. The speed that they put out to be able to lap on Road America. I mean, you look at what we saw in Sonoma GP. We didn't see any lapping there. The drivers were all extremely close. It was in 10 seconds by the final lap. Whereas this, completely different. Pretty much a same size track, but I tell you what,
it just makes me wonder why they pick these, why they pick those cars.
I think that's what it comes down to.
Like, I really just questioning the decision. Clearly, the Lotus on a track like this was the better option, and they just opted, hey, you know what, we're just going to go pick these cars with good stats nonetheless, right? Good acceleration. I mean, that's the thing that the Lotus struggles with, right? The acceleration is it's decent, or actually I would say it's around 8.9, but the handling is well at 5.5. But when you're talking about these straightaways, handling isn't going to be a priority here. But granted, the acceleration for the Alpha is 9.1, so theoretically, yes, it will, do really well off of the turns, but that doesn't matter when you're pretty much at that kind of position and then you're just booking it down a straightaway.
I want to give some big love to Hornet to be able to lap 4th place. That means that, ironically, in front of him are his teammates.
Yeah.
Think of it like that. That's crazy. That's how quick Hornet has been in this race.
I'm looking at Shadow Fox, and I think he's actually getting ready for a lap of his own in just a second.
He's about to lap 4th place as well. Yeah, because they've actually just gone through the Speedville Bridge. So he's very, very close to actually lapping 4th place, which is going to be Wizard. And again, we saw those huge mistakes come out. Moraine sweep, Canada corner, the 2 turns that we said at the very beginning of this track, make sure you keep your eyes out for, have come out, and they have cost Toasters pretty heavily, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, of course, and with ERS being up in this series already, they are looking to move on to the next round of this competition. Of course, huge shout out to these guys for just some incredible driving. And most importantly, just good car choices, right?
It begs the question: can they do that though against Kitty Crew now?
I mean, that's a different kind of beast altogether, right? Because I do feel like Kitty Crew just have some incredible awareness, and I mean, even when you start the matchup, and I think the first match of the day was Toasters versus Kitty Crew, and Toasters were in the lead, and then just one turn. And that was it. Toasters bit the dust. Like there was nothing else that they could do to come back into the race. Meanwhile, I mean, yes, I think ERS is a great team. They're going to have a challenge in front of them, but I think that they also are very good at forcing those mistakes there, especially if you talk about race number 1 when ERS caught them. I believe that was around lap 3. I believe, yeah. Yep. They caught Toasters. Toasters looked like they were in a position to be able to take it. They looked good, but
big mistake, yeah.
Big mistake, and then that was it. It cost them.
Cobbleton really did cost them. You saw a couple of people go out wide, but again, there was a lot of action. I think it's fair to say in our losers final, and I mean a lot of action across both tracks that we saw. And again, it came down to those small mistakes, which add up and cost you, especially when you consider the way the 3v3 is won is time. I mean, ERS, they just look so good. Again, another podium sweep, first, second, and third. And it wasn't even as if it was, first, second, and third pretty close. It was first place almost lapping his own teammate.
Yeah, there was just nothing that they could do at that point.
Crazy quick from the ERS guys. Crazy
yeah, ERS will be moving on to the grand finals. They will face off against Kitty Crew. Congratulations to them. It is going to be a very interesting race or set of races as we get ready for it.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, so to speak, with kind of focusing in and channeling in on the car selection. I think that is going to be something which we need to really pay attention to, because that was essentially what just won that race, right?
Yeah.
It was just kind of poor decisions coming in from the Toaster Crew, and ERS coming out and saying, well, we're just going to out-select you, out-draft our cars somewhat. Whereas with Kitty Crew, you're not going to see those same mistakes come in, right? It's going to be kind of what we saw in the other 2 rounds that we saw. It's just going to be solid racing, good car selection, so it's just going to be toe-to-toe driving.
Couple mirror matches. Well, I would actually expect 100% mirror across the board for all the players. I wouldn't expect to see a lot of variety with the car selections there.
Okay.
Especially as we get ready. These guys know what's at stake here. They're going to go the safe routes, and they're going to pick the cars that are going to be reliable to them. But yeah, it is going to come down to some good driving. Kitty Crew so far has shown themselves to be clearly above and beyond. But ERS, with that performance against USA Toasters, certainly looking solid. We'll see how they perform as we get ready for the grand final.
Yes, we actually have a replay as well from that series. We will take a look at it.
This was
track 1. This was the cobblestone turn. I said it was important, and boom, contact, and just how costly that was. Swerve drops all the way down. You can't make mistakes like that. You really can't. And that was as soon as you saw ERS pull away, they got first, second, and third, and they got a big distance between them there on Rio. For now, though, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we return, grand finals time of the 3v3 tournament.
everyone, and welcome back to the MLG Forza Motorsport 6 finals. I'm so sorry about that. It's been quite it's quite a bit. I'm Golden Boy, joined by Benson here as we get ready to get into the grand finals. It's going to be Kitty Crew versus ERS. We just saw ERS put on a great performance against the USA Toasters. Toasters take third place as they fall in the loser bracket finals.
Still in the prize money though.
Good prize money, right? $185 each just for a day of playing some Forza. But now, as we get ready for the finals here, this is certainly going to be a very exciting matchup. You know, we saw ERS versus the Kitty Crew before, and while it was a sweep, it came down to some key mistakes, key plays that Kitty Crew forced out of ERS. Will ERS be able to bounce back is the question. And I believe this is going to be a best of 5, or it's going to be
best of 3.
Best of 3.
Still best of 3.
Double a limb in this case, right? Right. So it'll be you win, or if they lose, Kitty Crew loses. Yeah, then they reset the bracket. No. Oh, it's just going to be best of 3.
Best of 3.
Just best of 3
best
straight
through.
through.
Why are you
okay, I don't know why I was trying to complicate things. I'm so sorry about that.
What are you talking about? You're out here trying to confuse
me. But yeah.
Too late now to say it? No.
So here we go, folks. Kitty Crew, ERS, Benson, your thoughts?
Yes. So heading into track number 1, we're going to be heading over to Prague. Of course, we have already seen this track earlier on in the day. It's a big one, 3.51 miles. Of course, 10 turns. Look out for Park Corner turn 3. We saw big mistakes kind of come in last time. We saw it around Park Corner. There's a steep incline as you head over towards that sharp left-hand side turn, and then a massive decline. And then, of course, you have the beautiful park on the right-hand side. Now, when we saw Kitty Crew, I believe it was on this same track earlier on, it was absolutely flawless. Didn't make any mistakes whatsoever. The question I have to ask is, can ERS come out and minimize the mistakes that we saw? Because they did just that in the losers final against Toasters. They didn't make those same mistakes they made against Kitty Crew. Now, though, they have to repeat against Kitty Crew. Of course, turn 10 as well. Another big one we need to talk about, Cathedral. Again, so many people making those mistakes on this Cathedral turn. It can be a little bit tricky, but if you get the right racing line, you will be home smooth at the end of your lap.
And I'm looking at what the what cars are going to be used here. So far, we have good old Lancia coming up here, and this track. So I understand the reasoning behind using the Lancia, because if you take a look there at the bottom left of your screen there, where you see the track itself, there is going to be a nice straightaway there, and one would think, oh yeah, well, what do you want to grab? Something like a Lotus that could just absolutely beam through that?
That's the wrong track though.
And they have Le Mans. Oh, goodness gracious. So now that makes a lot of sense. But I was going to make the point, though, and I couldn't read because clearly eyes just lose me here.
Okay.
But I was going to make the point, though, that those like really tough turns, right? Like those sharp turns are very difficult, and you want to be able to accelerate quick off of those turns. So just some food for thought as we wait for these players to actually set the correct track.
They're just getting the settings right. They're probably having the, I mean, even the grand final, you're playing for a fair amount of money here. You want to make sure as a team that you have the best composition of cars possible, whether it's, you all pick the same one, or whether you kind of change things up. Of course, it is all S-Class vehicles today. So maybe puts a couple of drivers outside of the comfort zone somewhat. Some races maybe not necessarily used to driving those S-Class, but of course that is the rules of today. As Hornet has selected a Fiat Punto.
Oh, that's
definitely not an S-Class vehicle.
Oh, that is a great car.
It's very reliable. I'll give you that.
It is.
It's a fantastic vehicle.
It will take you to Target. It will get your groceries. It will do the things that you need it to do, people.
But you know what it won't do?
Don't hate on the Fiat.
You know what it won't do?
What it won't do?
It won't win you an S-Class race.
You know what, man? You put a mother trying to get her kids to soccer practice there, and she will win an S-Class race, okay? You make that, or dad. This is the era we live in. We want to keep it neutral. And yes, I do feel that any parent trying to get their kid to a soccer game would certainly crush it in a Fiat Punto.
Well, Hornet's definitely going to be changing that. It's a B-class vehicle, so you can't even use it. He is selecting his car right now. Curious to see.
I say we let him do whatever he wants. Truthfully.
After watching car selection in the last race, let's not do that. Let's try and he's gone for the Lancia as well. Lancia Turbo, no surprise. It seems to be kind of the vehicle of choice. We talked about it at the end of that last match. Maybe we see a little bit more of a mirror match come out. Seems Raceboy, he's currently hovering the Alpha. They still haven't selected the correct track yet, so still obviously.
Yeah, they're clearly waiting on something here. I'm gonna click this, and I'm curious to see what they're gonna do, because I want to know if what the game plan is here.
Prague Full is the track.
Yeah.
So. Well, they don't even have the correct amount.
Track. Can't even right now.
They don't have the correct amount of laps set, so it's fine. They see
there we go.
Full lap.
So now
this is what I do, bro. This is what I do.
Oh, even here, this makes just a lot of sense as to why you would go for these kinds of cars, right? You're talking about some great acceleration, 9.0 acceleration for the Pro car. And remember, too, a lot of these players have tuned their vehicles as well. So
absolutely,
you're getting a little bit more speed, probably a little bit more acceleration. I don't know what they've preferred. This is the stock. This is what we see.
Shout out to Flash Gumby, by the way. The livery there on Shadow Fox's vehicle. You talked about that earlier on.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, man. The liveries are dope. These are really nice. These are always really cool to see. So yeah, Lancias across the board for Hornet. So I'm gonna make sure I write this down here.
Hornet, Raceboy, Harmonic, and Strata shots all with the Lancia, as well as Shadow Fox 2. Smoke, he's gonna be rocking the M1, and I believe that is the only variation. And it is everyone going for Lancias apart from Smoke. Now, you expected to see the mirror matchup really in terms of the vehicles, and you pretty much got it. Apart from Smoke. Now, the difference between the two cars, as you can see, Smoke has a little bit more speed. Going to fall off a little bit of handling, acceleration. He's going to drop a little bit, but for the most part, pretty even. So, as you can see, Smoke may be thinking more about trying to close those gaps on those straights if he needs to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be a comfort thing too. Keep in mind, a lot of these players pick cars that they feel comfortable with, and then so they have jumped to their appropriate teams.
Yep. Game loading up.
He's gonna have a little bit more speed. So Smoke's gonna be a guy to look out for in this race, 100%. You know, I think that 0.1, while it does make a difference, perhaps it comes down to comfort. Perhaps it comes down to looking to hit those slight straightaways and be a little bit quicker. Certainly going to be a player that we all have to look out for in this race. Get ready for Prague Full. And it is the launch of the Grand Finals, guys. Make sure you let your friends out there who are into Forza Motorsport and also just people who you want to get into the game know what's going on here. Tweet the stream, put it out on Facebook. Maybe you make a Medium post. I don't know. Just do something and promote this, because I think this is
write an essay, give it a carrier pigeon, get the carrier pigeon, send it over.
Give it to us.
Do whatever you need to do.
Exactly. There you go.
Promotion is promotion.
You know how we roll, man. Launch your MySpace page and do what you can.
You would still have a MySpace page. Anyway, race
underway. Page, man.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm on board with Raceboy. He is currently the race leader as they get off the starting grid. We'll see, can he hold on to that lead though as he approaches that turn number 1. It's a fantastic line. No mistakes coming out of Raceboy, as you would expect, Golden Boy. What is going on further down the pack though? Have we seen any disastrous turns, or is it all looking good?
Right now you have Hornet. He's pretty much on the heels of Harmonic. Again, Harmonic, we can't speak better about this player. One of the more established and I've been told fastest racers in Forza Motorsport. So certainly Hornet has a challenge in front of him, but he's looking to take him on the inside here, and he's just not getting much out of that one though. Harmonic just doing a brilliant job holding this one off and not really allowing Hornet anything to work with.
Yeah, Raceboy just took Park Corner so very well. Of course, this is currently the battle for first place, and Raceboy a little early on the brakes there. That may actually cost him as he goes around this left-hander.
Oh, he has his teammate there too, keep in mind. So
that's true.
No matter what, they're in the 1, 2, and 3 positions.
It's business as usual for the Kitty Crew. Let's actually, I'm going to change on board to Hornet from ERS. He's currently in 2nd place.
Oh, sorry about that. Switched out. I'm trying to take a look here and see what's going on. So
I'm so confused. It says he's in 4th, but he's actually in 2nd.
What was that?
So it says Hornet's in 4th, but he's actually in 2nd.
No, I think the guys are just further ahead.
No, because first place is Raceboy, who's directly in front of him.
Oh. Okay. So I actually want to find Smoke. Oh, there was a spin out there. Goodness gracious. Who was that? Was that
was Hornet, who is now, I'm pretty sure, in last place.
100% in last place, man. There is no way he is not.
Yeah, he done goofed there. He done goofed. All right, so let's go through the race leaders.
Oh Alex, man, I'm jumping over. I wanted to go over to Smoke's perspective here, because remember, guys, he's the one who ended up going with the Beamer Pro car. And sitting, I believe he's in 5th at this point. There are going to be a couple guys ahead of him here. 1, 2, 3. So I see 4. Yeah, I believe he's in 5th place now.
Okay.
Oh man.
I'm just kind of flicking through our race leaders. Raceboy is still currently in 1st. Stratashot 2nd. Harmonic 3rd. According to the leaderboard as we approach Park Corner, and we'll see, can Harmonic get through? Okay, it looks good, and it should be good. Of course, we've already seen a little bit of a catastrophe there, but will it cost? That is, of course, the ultimate question. ERS currently in 4th, 5th, and 6th. So the answer ultimately, yes, it has cost.
Yeah, I don't think that pro car, I mean, that hasn't really made much of a difference here, but it certainly, I would say, was more of a comfort pick for Smoke, without a doubt. But Raceboy.
How far in the lead does he go, Mo?
How far in the lead?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to see.
He's actually not that far ahead. When looking at Shadow Fox's perspective right now, you can comfortably see pretty much everyone in front of him, including Raceboy, as Raceboy just starts to go down that final straight over bridge towards Cathedral Turn. The 3 cars trailing are very, very close indeed, one of which is, of course, including Stratashots, who is actually right behind. I want to stay on board with Stratashots, currently in 2nd place, but as we mentioned, for now, it is still Kitty Crew comfortably
turn
cruising
10.
through, and that was a beautiful turn from Stratashots. And
it's
solid racing. It really is.
Yeah, they're nailing the turns here, man. There's really not much more else to say about it. It's just good racing overall. What we expected from Kitty Crew. They did it against ERS before, and they're just looking to repeat the same performance one more time. Kitty Crew's Raceboy in 1st place, and shout out to him with his social media callouts, because clearly this guy knows how to brand himself. So that's,
hey man, social media, a big part of today's world.
I agree, and that's a you know, when you think about the competitive, like Forza, competitive racing in general, right, and especially with a game like Forza, it allows you to do these kinds of things. It's almost akin to what you would see from NASCAR, or a couple of these other, like F1 or whatever, right, where brands kind of represent themselves on the car themselves. And here, this is a clear example of, like, just smart branding, man. Just want to let people know what's going on and where to check out his content, which is cool stuff.
Well, Shadow Fox is actually currently in 3rd position, so he has managed to sneak up a little bit. Only 2 cars ahead of him there as he goes through the tunnel. So ERS breaking into the top 3, but will it be enough? Can you currently do me a favor and find out who is in 5th place for me, if possible? I expect it is the ESR boys. Probably going to be
ERS.
Smoke.
Keep doing it.
Is it Smoke? Sorry.
Literally keep doing it. It's okay.
I'm sorry, dude. It's a habit. It's a bad habit.
It is going to be Smoke.
So he's about
Hornet.
He's the whole length of that bridge, currently behind at 3rd place, which is Shadow Fox. So he's not too far. Ooh, but kissing that wall definitely could cost him. And okay, apparently you can just go straight through that.
Yeah, it seems like could be Hornet playing out of a Walmart. I don't know, or a Radio Shack. Those are
never
closing
know.
Down. So
looking at Shadow Fox though, as he's about to go into, I believe, the final lap of Prague. He's just desperately trying to close that gap. As I mentioned, should still be in 3rd place.
Yeah, that's going to be Stratashots.
Stratashots right in front of him. Yeah, so he is currently in 3rd place, not 4th. We'll see if he can close this gap. If he can find his way into 2nd place, that would be so big for the ERS squad. Approaching Park Corner now, he's going to need to make sure he hits this one well. Gone a little bit wider than the car he's currently chasing, but you can see that gap slowly starting to close now. Going down that left-hand side, he's going to hit the decline, and look at the gap is closed. Can he try and find him on the outside?
No.
Hits the barrier, and that was just enough to save Shadow Fox.
Some good driving, but not good enough, and especially you just didn't have the space to work with, and that was just a heartbreaker there, man. The Stratashots did such a brilliant job just ensuring that no one got in his way, and really, not allowing him a lot of space there.
He is knocking on the door. I think, honestly, Golden Boy, this could come down to Cathedral Turn.
You should just look at your screen, because you got this great race here. Dude, I'm going to go to Stratashots so we can get both POVs.
Shadow Fox is just knocking on the door. He is desperate to pass. Can he do it? That is going to be the question. Down the final bridge straight, approaching that Cathedral Turn. We'll see. It's basically going to have to come down to, will a mistake be made? Shadow Fox is just relentless on the throttle. And no, that was the mistake that we didn't want to see.
I just want to point out Stratashot's just his driving, his handling. I mean, you're talking about a car with 7.0 handling here, but the way that Stratashot's navigated those corners, anyone else I think would have hit that. And that's exactly what you saw there.
That's what Shadow Fox did. Shadow Fox just clipped.
He clipped those corners, and those things are brutal, man. Yep. Like, oh, that was sick. Just seeing the way that he came, and he was going at it like very quickly. Yep. Like I didn't get a chance to see it with the telemetry stat there, but I think he was, averaging around like 87, 90 miles per hour, just beaming through those parts. Relentless. That was wonderful.
It was very, very quick. That is for sure. And as you said, just that kind of kiss on the corner was enough to potentially
kiss
cost
on the
him.
Kiss off the rose.
It was. Of course, you were just watching kind of the end of the.
It was a Seal reference, man.
Just stop. But question could have been made if he'd have found that that second place, would have maybe changed the tally. But I'm pretty sure.
Oh, 100%.
Kitty Crew will walk away with track number 1 under their belts. We'll get official confirmation on that, but I am pretty sure there because ERS had 6th and 5th, so you already kind of calculate the track time. Not going to be the best there.
Well, now we're getting ready for what is this going to be? Silverstone International?
Yes, we go back to my motherland for track number 2.
Okay, this is going to be a 9-turn track here. So again, very exciting stuff because the last one that we just saw there, which was Prague, was about a 3.51 mile track. This is a 2.25, so you're going to see a lot quicker of a race here.
Yep.
And overall, though, I mean, Ben, you could talk about these turns. Yeah. Abby and Beckett's. Why are they so dreadful?
Abby is going to be turn 1 here on Silverstone International, and it is important to note, these all 6 cars going into that first turn.
Oh yeah.
It's not a huge turn, but it's enough of a turn where if someone pushes that wide, you could see some passing.
Well, also because you have to hit that inside, right?
Yeah, and you have to make sure. I mean, you have to be kind of early on the brakes, but as you're braking, you need to just touch and then go through. And then, of course, Beckett's is going to be a turn 3. Now, the 2 turns are chosen are right at the beginning of the track because they kind of coincide with each other. From Abbey, it's a very, very small distance before you get to Beckett's turn 3. And then after that, you have to finish that 9-turn course. Fastest lap recorded on the Silverstone International is a 58.817 by Dan Thorne. Very, very quick. Of course, this isn't the full Silverstone track that we're going to see on the variation. It is the Silverstone International, so a little bit smaller.
Yeah, and I'm looking to see what cars are being picked here. It seems like we have Raceboy, Harmonic, and Stratashot's going with the Alpha 33 Stardale, which Stradale, which is overall Alfa Romero, smart pick nonetheless, right? You're not really talking about much with speed, 5.8 speed, but still, what's the important stat here and what's really going to help out is that acceleration coming in at 9.3. As you can see that track there, it's a smaller track, so you're going to want that acceleration.
Yeah.
Top speed's not going to be the most important thing here.
I mean, there is a very, very back long straight you can kind of see on that mini map. Maybe you want to consider a little bit of top speed there. I mean, some of the turns are pretty vigorous though, so you're definitely going to focus maybe a little bit more on acceleration. But that long straight, I think if you maybe want to focus on top speed, you definitely
check it out though. Smoking Hornet going for the M1 Pro car, going for the M1. Okay. I like that choice because you get 6.8 speed.
See,
there.
That's them thinking about that straight for sure. That's them thinking, hey, like a whole half of the track essentially is one giant straight, and if you can just get that extra speed, you could maybe create some passing opportunities for you. Interesting fact as well about Silverstone, it's actually built on a World War II Royal Air Force bomber station. So Brands Hatch, if you remember, that was a
That's right.
So basically, us Brits, we just turn anything old military into racing tracks.
That seems to be the trend here, my friend.
Hey, I'm a fan. I'm not complaining.
So let me see. Shadow Fox is going to go with the Alpha 33. So the Alfa Romero 33, smart choice there. It's a smart car that's going to compete really well here. Clearly, Kitty Crew have another plan. They have a plan of attack, which is why they all went with the mirror match. But I like that that Smoke and Hornet are thinking about that straight away. Trying to see here what I can get for stats. So Pro Car pulls off, what is this going to be, a 9.0 acceleration. And you know what? I don't know. I feel...
interesting. Smoke's actually decided to go off the M1, and he's gone to the Alpha.
It's not a bad choice, man.
I mean, you look at the difference between the M1 and the Alpha. I mean, top speed is basically is pretty drastic between the M1 and the Alpha. Handling is also better on the M1. Acceleration, though, that's where the Alpha kind of gets the big pip.
Yeah.
In fact, everyone's decided no M1. In fact, no, Hornet now has
sticking to his guns.
Okay, so Hornet's going to stick with it. Everyone else, Alpha. And the game loading in a couple of seconds, because here's a look at Silverstone International. This track number 2 in our best of 3 grand final between the lovely Kitty Crew and, of course, ERS. Kitty Crew 1-0 up.
Yeah, Kitty Crew looking to just seal the deal here, walk away with a combined total of $3,300, which will be $1,100 a piece. And
no,
that's
your
not
math
even
has improved.
Well, you know, I mean, simple numbers are relatively easy. So I'm going to look for Hornet. Hornet's going to be my guy to watch in this race. He's coming into it with the BMW M1 Pro Car. Clearly, he has a plan. Let's go ahead right into this one, and we are. Let's see, who am I taking?
I'm on board with Raceboy, and already going into Abbey turn 1. You can see he went a little wide, and that's going to cost him there. Someone sneaking on the inside. So from 3rd position on the grid, already down to 4th for Raceboy, but Raceboy shouldn't really have too many issues as he tries to have a quick look on the inside. Doesn't see an opening there, but so far, so good it seems for the boys on ERS, who should be holding down 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Yeah, looking Harmonic is in 1st place.
Okay.
Quite dominant there. I want to see what's up with Hornet. Hornet, he has how many in front of him? Hard to
I believe
tell
Hornet
from
is in 5th place?
Yes, he is in 5th. He is in 5th. So, you know what? Maybe coming into these straightaways are going to be where you need to pay attention to Hornet and see what he could do here, because that's going to be certainly very telling.
I believe Raceboy may have actually just made contact with the car in 3rd, but it doesn't matter. He's drifted wide, and Raceboy says, thank you very much. I'm going to take that gap, and I believe as well, the player you were actually just on board with actually managed to sneak through as well.
Took that one.
A couple of cars slowly starting to push up further on the grid. Raceboy now back in 3rd position. A couple of cars in front of him. I'm gonna take a quick look. Oh, actually, hello. Raceboy could be done on the outside.
Hornet.
He's gone quick. Raceboy versus Hornet. Wheel-to-wheel action. Can Hornet get through on the inside? Raceboy doesn't want to go off the acceleration.
Though, man.
They're still wheel-to-wheel, and a bit of contact comes in, and Raceboy may be good to stay on that racing line. Oh, I tell you what, that was...
acceleration is just absurd from the Alpha, man. You could just see how it took over there, and there was just nothing that Hornet could do, but that was intense to say the least. Now we're going into this next turn here, and
he's looking on the outside again.
He's going on the outside. He's taking a lot of risks, and it's just he's trying. He's trying his best to make do with what he has. Creeps into the inside again, spins out one, but he course corrects and manages to get right back on it. Oh my goodness.
That's definitely some interesting racing currently going on as you look further down the grid. And I believe, has he actually... Where is he? Is he currently in 6th place now? I think he's fallen all the way. He's fallen all the way down the grid.
Yeah, it's going to be who's that black car
Smoke.
in front of him?
Smoke is currently in 5th. I mean, he's just going to get completely done on the outside, but it doesn't matter because they're teammates. Looking over at Shadow Fox.
He let him take that.
I believe Shadow Fox is currently in 4th place. So ERS going to be struggling in this race as Kitty Crew control 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But big position change going on down lower in the pack. But what was interesting was there was a fight for 3rd with Raceboy, and a huge mistake comes out. And once again, it's been the story of this tournament in the 3v3 team bracket, Golden Boy. You know, teams get close to breaking into that top 3, causing a bit of commotion. Mistake happen, fall all the way down to the bottom of the grid.
Man, this has certainly been a great race, though. Harmonic in 1st place as he crosses the line here. I believe this will be lap number 3, I want to say. I'm not too certain here, but it doesn't matter because Harmonic, he's just looking to make quick work of this track, and no one is contesting him here. He pretty much from lap 1, he was just in control. and has not looked back just yet. But man, I have to say, Hornet, he took some liberties there, man, and I give him a huge shout out for doing so. Very impressive stuff. I believe this is going to be Strata, who is currently that I'm following here, and I think there's one. He's in third at this point, even though it says that there, but he is in fact in third place.
Okay.
Trying to escape by. Wait a minute. So there is a white car in front. Who is this?
Oh, I just completely clicked off when I was supposed to know. I believe the white car is going to be Shadow Fox, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean,
Shadow Fox.
Second.
Shadow Fox could be in second.
Yes, he is, because that's Harmonic in front of him in red.
Sure?
I'm almost certain.
Okay. So Shadow Fox.
That is a red car in front of him. I mean, I'm blind, but
But there's also a couple. Well,
that's that. Doesn't even matter. We'll get confirmation of who came out on top there. So that was actually going to be lap 3, and then we went into lap 4. So
Kitty Crew just dominant again.
Yeah, we're going to get the total here in just a second. I'm almost certain that was Shadow Fox. But regardless, though, I think
Kitty Crew were dominant. They had first place completely locked down. Race Boy was still in third place. I'm pretty sure. I mean, you can see there the final podium winner.
Yeah, actually, that was it. They took it. Race Boy, Harmonic, and Strata Shots all finished
very quickly.
Pretty much around that same time. So yeah, that's it. That's going to do it. I believe Kitty Crew, they're going to come out on top. They're going to be the champions. Congratulations to those guys, man. What a race they had. 2-0. That was an intense one as well on Silverstone International to close things out. But man, dominating, not dropping a single race throughout their run here in the top 4. Very deserving victory for those guys.
Very deserving indeed. We actually have a replay as well available from that last race. We saw a little bit of mistakes kind of come in. And here was just toe-to-toe action. Of course, this is Race Boy. And what's interesting is the car to his left, which you so rightfully just kind of switched over to, the one small mistake, there's the contact, drift out wide, Race Boy gets back on the driving line, and he's just gone. Right? Just disappears into the distance. That's the last time they saw each other.
Look at that acceleration, man.
Just gone. Race Boy is just literally just gone.
That acceleration is
so
insane. To Alpha Romero definitely coming up clutch there. But yeah, congratulations to them. I believe now we move on through the show. We have some awesome stuff coming up here, Ben. Of course, we have the 1v1 competition, which we'll be checking out the winners finals and losers finals, as well as the grand finals for that one. So that will be coming up in just a little bit. But we also have the NASCAR showcase, and that is exciting. Of course, the new NASCAR DLC coming out here for Forza Motorsport 6. I think it goes without saying, it's very exciting times here, especially if you're a racing fan. If you're a racing fan, if you're a NASCAR fan, This is some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, of course. As you mentioned, we've got the NASCAR exhibition and then the 1v1s to close out the evening. You'll see many of the same names you saw in the team bracket competing in the 1v1s. But for now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, all things NASCAR.
welcome back. Of course, we just concluded the 3v3 portion of our competition, but we have a special guest joining us here as we talk about the new awesomeness coming to Forza Motorsport 6. We have the one and only Brian Eckberg, community manager at Turn 10. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's great to be here. I'm doing great. It's been awesome watching the sort of team racing so far. Looking forward to the 101s.
Yep.
It's going to be awesome. But,
Yeah, the 101s are going to be awesome.
It's going to be fun to see the team loyalty's thrown out the window, you know,
Yeah.
and people just going to be racing for themselves. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be good stuff.
I want a
here.
1v1 Golden Boy.
Yeah,
They wouldn't
let's
let
do
it happen. I was like, I want a 1v1 Golden Boy. Kind of give them the business, but they said no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
well,
maybe after the show. Who knows?
Maybe.
They clearly don't want us fighting on the sets, so we'll wait for that later on. Like in the streets. All right, so we have some cool stuff to talk about here today, Brian. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it? Because we have the NASCAR stuff coming out, and this is some exciting content for fans of Forza Motorsport 6.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. When we launched Forza Motorsport 6 last year, a lot of fans were saying, "Where's the NASCAR stuff?" Right? You've got Formula One, you've got Formula E, you've got V8 supercars, you've got all these different series. Where's NASCAR? Well, NASCAR's here now, right? You know, the NASCAR expansion is a fantastic expansion. The second expansion we've done for Forza 6.
Yep.
We released the Porsche expansion earlier in the year. NASCAR expansion, of course, is dedicated to the world of NASCAR, America's most popular form of motorsport, right? You're intimately familiar with it, I'm sure. Someone from the UK. But it's funny because our take on NASCAR is really something that could only happen in Forza Motorsport. You're talking about, of course, we have 24 cars from real-life teams that you'd see competing, 2016 season cars, right? These aren't cars from the past. These are current cars from teams like Joe Gibbs Racing, Team Penske, all the really successful teams in the sport. But what we've really done is create this sort of automotive fantasy, right? We've got this idea of
The twist.
the Forza twist of how do you NASCAR cars compare against Australian V8 cars? How do NASCAR cars compare against BTCC cars, right? These are the kind of questions that car fans like us ask ourselves, and we want to know.
Yep.
Well, in Forza, you can sort of live those fantasies. We want you to give you those, be able to answer those questions for yourself.
So I can have
take them on the track.
I can have my Fiat Punto.
Yes. Or
Face
something
off.
like it.
Face
Why?
off.
You could pick any. This is the great thing. You can pick any car in the one. You go with the.
We got 600 cars, and that's what you go with?
Really?
Fiat Punto. I'm going to supercharge a Fiat Punto. Okay, I'm going to make sure I have.
Really?
I'm going to have my children in the back.
Okay.
As I drive them.
Just some ballast in the
To
back.
some-
See, Brian, this is what I have to deal with.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
it's
You could have
exciting.
picked any car you want to go against other NASCAR cars, and you pick the Fiat.
I will
You blow my mind. You
NASCAR
blow my
find a
mind.
Hey,
Fiat
we don't
Punto.
judge, man. We
That's
give
true.
people the
That's
opportunity to race the way you want to race.
you. So much,
Judgment-free
Brian.
zone, right?
Exactly.
Here. But still,
Exactly.
I love the kind of the idea behind it. As you said, it allows people who are huge racing fans to kind of live out that racing fantasy. Like, what would happen if? And then you can kind of have the answer here in Forza. It's great. It really is.
You can bring these cars on the track. You can race at night at Yas Marina. You can race in the rain at Silverstone. You know, NASCAR cars in real life, they typically they're slick tires. They're trying to avoid the rain, but in Forza you can do it. That's the idea of bringing NASCAR to the world stage. What would NASCAR be like on Le Mans? What would NASCAR be like at Bathurst in Australia? These iconic tracks, amazing cars, and you can pit them against all of the cars in Forza Motorsport. It's a car lover's dream come true.
It is. It really is. And because of that, we decided to do this, the NASCAR exhibition, if you want. I
Okay.
believe you are
Yes.
going to be driving.
Okay.
Now, yesterday we had a rehearsal, and I asked the question. So, do you want to be talking when you're driving? You went, well, I want to be focusing on winning. So it was a bold statement that came
Right.
out from Brian. He's
Yes.
feeling
Okay.
pretty confident.
I feel really confident against guys like Harmonic and Raceboy. It's not going to be a problem.
Yeah,
not going to be a
for
problem
sure.
at all.
I think
We'll see.
I think you'll do very well
Yeah.
against them.
I'm just glad Golden Boy is involved.
Hey,
As
listen,
they-
I've got my built-in excuse. I'm going to be talking and driving at the same time.
Which you should never do.
No.
You
Always
should
focus on the
always.
road, children.
I mean, but then again, most people don't drive with a controller. But
That's
you know,
true. That's
I mean,
true.
that's the difference. So I believe you have a pretty awesome video
We do.
for
Yeah.
us as well.
We
So-
do.
Take a look.
I didn't know we were tossing it. That was my bad.
Drivers, start your
That was pretty dope.
That's awesome. I love that.
Well, then
I
again,
absolutely
Turn
love it.
10 always puts on some like really sick trailers. I don't know if you ever, like, I actually was in the crowd at E3, I think like 2 years ago, and I was watching, I think when Horizon was
Forza
in there.
Horizon 2, probably.
Yeah, and I saw it and I was just like, oh, that's a sick trailer. It's like,
We got a great media team. Shout out to the media team. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're
They
great.
did a really
Yeah.
good job. One thing we didn't talk about either was the extra 10 hours of campaign that's been thrown in there as well.
It's built around that theme of NASCAR takes on the world. So
Okay.
you start off and you might be doing something what you would expect in NASCAR. You might be driving on Daytona or the new track, Homestead, Miami. Oval racing, that's what you expect from NASCAR.
Yep.
But it's not long before you're racing on Silverstone or
That's so awesome.
Le Mans,
love
Bugatti, or something like that. And then, you'll get to the point where you're on the Nürburgring in a NASCAR taking on all different kinds of cars, right? And that's the whole idea. Is like the idea is bringing NASCAR to all of the different circuits in Forza Motorsport 6, giving these cars a chance to compete. You can see now, if you guys have driven it, you know NASCAR cars are heavy, right? They don't drive like a Formula One car.
Definitely not.
They're completely different, but that's the fun, you know. You get to experience these cars. You get to hear from guys like Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, guys who are on the NASCAR circuit right now, racing this weekend in Charlotte. Got to give a shout out to the NASCAR guys. But yeah, they give you a little bit of history of like what's it like, what goes into these cars, how do they engineer these cars. You're learning about NASCAR, but you're also getting a peek at the personalities behind the cars themselves. So it's a really great experience. It's 10 hours of gameplay. Obviously, there's new achievements to earn.
For those achievement hunters out there.
Exactly. I know they're out there. I'm one of them. There's leagues, there's hoppers, there's online stuff to do. So if you like NASCAR, if you've never really even experienced NASCAR and you want to see what it's all about, check it out. This is a really unique twist on the world of NASCAR.
Definitely unique, that's for sure.
Yes.
Of course, definitely recommend checking out the NASCAR expansion. For now, though, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, though, we're going to give you guys at home a look exactly what the NASCAR expansion is all about. Be right back.